All those silly issues made up in your head. Money can pay for your time, but it's not love. And calling me back with some bullshit like water. Swear to God I should be gone, be alone, but I'd rather be with you and all your boys. Rather be with you and all your boys. I'd rather be with you and all your boys. Rather be with you and all your boys. You, my life. You. I don't wanna go back. Hey. Trips that you plan for the next whole week. It's too long for so cheap and your flex so D, your sex so D. You got it, girl, you got it. Hey, you got it, girl, you got it. Yeah, pretty little thing, you got a bag and now you wildin'. You just took it off the line, no mileage. Waiting, hitting you the DM, looking violent. Talking while you come around and now they silent. Blue the Cooper 17, no guidance. You be staying low, but you know what the price is. Ain't never got you know it being modest. Poppin' shit, but only cause you know you poppin', yeah. You got it, girl, you got it. Hey. You got it, girl, you got it. Little baby, and I'm back in a Birkin. No 9 to 5, put the work in. Stars and all, I love them all. To me, you're perfect. Baby girl, you got it, girl. You got it, girl. You got it, girl. You got it, girl. I don't wanna play no games, but I don't give you my last name. You know you tired of the same damn thing. That's okay, cause baby, you got it, girl. You got it. Hey. You got it, girl. You got it. You the only one I'm trying to make love to. Picking and choosing. They ain't really love you. Running game. All your stupid exes, they gon' call again. Tell them they're real, you stepping in.
Oh, yeah.
Push your patience. Tell them that it's over, ain't no debate. All you need is me, playing on your playlist. You ain't gotta be frustrated. I don't wanna play no games. Go around, get your my last name. You know you try to the same damn thing. That's okay, cause baby, you.
Oh, yeah, Omaha. The Burbs, the Bluffs. What's going on today? I'm feeling it today, y'all. Today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. Oh, yeah, we're going to tell the truth today. Oh, yeah, we're going to tell the truth today. The day is, March the 9th, y'all. It's 6:50. I'm here early. You know why I'm here early? It's because, we on the plantation. I got to get up. Before sun up, before sun down, y'all. 2 feet in. Oh, yeah. I got to get up before sun up, y'all. I'm here early. Y'all think we playing games over here? Oh, yeah. I'm a million man marcher, man. I'm a different type of dude. Oh, yeah. I love my community. And it's my responsibility to get us off the plantation. Oh, yeah. Without a doubt, it's my responsibility to get us off the plantation. Without a doubt. This morning, I heard our neighbors, let the suspension off of Coach McDermott, of his comment, his plantation comment. You know what I mean? He coached the game while he said the comment, and then they suspend him for one game, and then they bring him back. I'm pretty sure Creighton has a good coaching staff that had other coaches on the sideline. I'm pretty sure. I watched the game, the last game. The coaches that they currently have did a good job. They got a victory. But yet Creighton is bringing their coach back. I mean, that's the shortest suspension that I've ever seen. I mean, and then I seen the comments. Are everybody ready? Everybody ready for people, the so-called young men to get back to basketball? Get back to basketball. Win a Big East championship. Gone back out to the fields, Negroes. Gone back out to the fields. Gone back out to the court. I mean, that's how the Creighton fans. I mean, I seen the comments. I see y'all. I know how to read. Remember, on the plantation, they wouldn't allow us to read. If we was caught with a book, we would be sold or death immediately. You wonder why? You wonder why black people are struggling in y'all so-called educational system? It's because, remember, y'all didn't allow us to read. You didn't allow us to read. Yes, 2 feet in on the plantation. I'm not going to let this die because, hey, they are neighbor, man. This is how we do our neighbor. I grew up in Hilltop Project. It's in me. I mean, honestly, they really don't care. Suspended one game. I mean, Creighton men's basketball squad, they have 5 other coaches on the bench. Obviously, they have the skill set or they wouldn't be on the bench. I shared a video of the players. They're hurt. See, people don't care about the players. They don't care about the players. They just want them to get back to playing basketball. Oh, Negro, please. Get back to playing basketball, Negro. Sun up, sun down, get back to work. Plantation, 2 feet in. And so this morning, I'm going to today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. I got to tell the truth. And since y'all don't want to listen to me all day, I got some guests later on. But this morning, I'm going to actually play true slave stories. And they narrated by, certain stars like Oprah Winfrey, Samuel Jackson. They're narrating the slave stories. So white journalists went out right after the Civil War, and they interviewed former slaves right after Reconstruction, because that was the last generation of actual bondage before they after the Civil War. And so they went around and they actually got narrative testimonies from ex-slaves, from slaves, currently slaves. So I want you guys to hear plantation life, since we have been described as a plantation. And I don't know what it was. I think Coach was just sick. What do you mean? It was a suspension for one game, 5 days. Plantation. Creighton, like Kanye West said to Bush, Creighton don't like black people. I mean, it's okay for them to check on our teeth, to bring the skill set of their students up, but yet they tell their students don't come up north. Oh yes, that's the culture of Creighton University. Oh yeah, and then for them to just say the suspension over, get back to playing basketball, Negroes. And you seen the testimony that hurt from those young men, and Creighton don't care. They said, just get back to playing basketball. So remember, sun up, sun down. That's how we worked on the plantation. See, they don't want to put that in y'all history books. So young people, if they're not going to teach it in OPS, I'm representing UNO today. I'm representing UNO Black Studies today. Because they're the only one that teach about Black history. Oh yeah, I'm repping UNO. Shouts out to UNO. Say it loud. I'm Black and I'm proud. Black UNO. Shouts out to UNO. Black Studies. If you want to know about Black people, go to UNO. But these young men, I play college basketball. I played at a time where they wouldn't put my picture in Fremont Tribune. Yes, they wouldn't put my picture because I was too Black. I was too Black. I was the only Black on the team. They wouldn't put my picture in the Fremont Tribune. You don't know what kind of hurt a student athlete goes through. But yet, the one that they entrust the most, their coach, get on the plantation, stay on the plantation. We need you on the plantation 2 feet in. And y'all Negroes, y'all think it's acceptable. Well, where are our Negro leaders? Where are they at? Where are our Negro leaders? Since we're on a plantation, you know why? They ain't saying nothing because they quiet. They quiet. They're on the plantation. You can't say too much on the plantation. Negro leaders ain't saying nothing, ain't coming to the aid of their brothers. You know what? You know what the NAACP did for me when in 1987, after they heard that Fremont Tribune wouldn't put a Black man face in their newspaper, a Black young man that was 21 years old from North Omaha. You know what the NAACP did for me in 1987? Oh yeah, they put pressure on the Fremont Tribune. Oh yeah, and my student body protested while I played basketball. My mama was there. My sister was there. That's what a community does. You step up for the young men that come from your community. But these Negro leaders, shh. I hears nothing. I did hear something from Ernie Chambers. Of course, I don't believe he should get fired, but a 1-day suspension, really? I mean, that's a slap in the face to our community. A 1-day suspension. Negroes get back to work. Sun up, sun down, 2 feet in, 2 feet in. I don't want you to lead the plantation. You can't lead the plantation. I know y'all mad at me. Don't get mad at me. I didn't say 2 feet in. I'm just repeating what's been said. And y'all think I'm happy. You think I'm happy. My mother came from the plantation, fools. You think that's fun and games. So what I'm going to do, since y'all don't love Black people, since y'all don't believe Black people, since it's not being taught in OPS, the struggles of Black people, then I'm going to let you hear some slave narratives. So from the actual slaves, narrated by y'all Hollywood stars, since y'all like to be Hollywood all day. So I'm going to let y'all listen to this. Actual slave narrative, slaves talking of their struggle on the plantation, since y'all want our young Black men to go back to playing basketball. They want to win a Big East championship. See, it's a different day over here. It's a different day. Self-made. Everybody don't take money from y'all. I don't need y'all money. I work for God. I get it tenfold, baby. I get it tenfold. Can't pay me enough. Ain't no sucker ducks over here. Those young men got mothers. They got fathers that's not from here. We're supposed to protect them. But Creighton University, they said, oh, you get a 1-day suspension, coach. Oh, that plantation, they're really on the plantation, coach. But get those Negroes back to work. We got to win the Big East championship. No one's stepping up for these young men. Senator Chambers, the oldest, 83, come up here doing 20 push-ups. Everybody else quiet. Shh. These Negro leaders, shh, quiet. See, I ain't getting paid by Creighton. I'm not getting paid by Creighton. And then when I do, it's chump change. You got the NBA playing for historical black colleges last night because everybody else ain't giving us no love. Shouts out again to President Trump. President Trump, the only one that have put historical black college in the budget. For y'all haters of Trump, he's the only one that gave us money. He only one that gave historical black colleges money. Did any of y'all Democrat leaders give y'all or guarantee any money for historical black colleges? No. So I'm going to place a slave narrative and I'm going to get out of here. Boss with me.
I never knowed my age till after the war, and the master got out a big book, and it shows I'm 25 years old. Shows I was 12 when I was bought, and $800 is paid for me. My mammy was owned by John Williams in Petersburg in Virginia, and I come born to her on that plantation. Then, long came a Friday and that unlucky star day. And I playing around the house and Master Williams come up and say, Dallas, will you lie here and walk down the street with me? My mammy say, all right, Jim, you be a good boy. That's the last time I ever heard her speak or ever see her.
The Library of Congress is home to most of the slave narratives, a multi-volume collection of interviews with former slaves.
What's that? You want me to tell you about slavery days?
Lots of old slaves close the door before they tell the truth about their days of slavery.
I could tell you about it all day, but even then you couldn't guess the awfulness of it.
My life was filled with heartaches and despair.
We was married on the front porch of the big house.
When they put them on the block to sell them, the ones between 18 and 30 always bring the most money.
The boys came in and threw her down on the floor and tied her down so she couldn't struggle.
Lord, child, what make you folks wait so long before you get this stuff by way back yonder?
Now, I tell you something to put in your book.
No more, no more, no more, no more. I'll never come back. No more. When the Civil War ended in 1865, more than 4 million slaves were set free. By the late 1930s, 100,000 ex-slaves were still alive.
In the midst of the Great Depression, the Federal Writers Project hired journalists and writers to travel the country and record the memories of this last generation of African Americans born into bondage. Most former slaves were still living in the rigidly segregated South, a society deeply rooted in its Confederate past and that still treated Black people as inferior. Never turn back. Some ex-slaves were reluctant to speak openly with their mainly white interviewers for fear of retaliation for telling the truth. But many others approaching the end of their lives were willing to tell their stories. Never turn back. No more. Although these ex-slaves did not all speak in one voice, they were the last African Americans able to give a first-hand account of what it was like to be a slave in the years before the Civil War. Over 2,000 interviews were transcribed as spoken in the vernacular of the time to form this unique historical record.
Sarah Gudger. Gudger?
Yes. Miss Sarah apparently went blind a year before this interview was taken. I mean, there's nothing written to describe her, but that pretty much says it all, you know.
This, her mouth.
Yeah, a set of mouth.
When they did these, are these like, did they ask them some questions? Or did they just talk?
Each one is a response to the question, but there was a set of subjects on a list that they would ask the ex-slaves about.
Okay.
In action.
Sarah Gudger, Slave Narratives, Volume 11, North Carolina. I sure has had a hard life. Just work and work. I never know nothing but work. I never knows what it was to rest. I just work all the time, from morning till late at night. Work in the field, chop wood, hoe comb. Sometimes I feels like my back surely break. Honey, you can't know what a time I had, all cold and hungry. Oh no, I ain't telling no lies. It's the gospel truth, the gospel truth, the gospel truth.
Bells and horns, bell for this, horn for that. All we know was go and come by the bells and the horns. Old ram horn blow to send us all to the field. We all line up, about 75 field niggas, and go by the tool shed and get our hoes, or maybe go hitch up the mule to the plows.
On most plantations, slaves worked from sunrise till sundown 6 days a week. Some worked into the night and on Sunday too. The overwhelming majority toiled in the fields, growing crops like tobacco, rice, sugarcane, and cotton. For every field hand, 10 acres of cotton were produced. Cotton became the United States' greatest export, making plantation owners, the South, and America rich. Everyone but the slaves profited from it. For all of the ex-slaves, a lifetime of labor began at a very young age. Many started work in the master's house, often as playmates for white children. I'm gonna know that is high.
We be playing in the barn, and Jimmy always say to me, "Come on, nigga, let's ride around the farm." I say, "I ain't no nigga." He say, "Yes, you is. My pa paid $200 for you. He bought you for to play with me."
I have about 85 years of good memory to call on. I'm 90, and so I'm not counting my first 5 years of life. My earliest recollection is the day my old boss presented me to his son, Joe, as his property. I was about 5 years old, and my new master was only 2. No, sir, I never went into books. I used to handle a big dictionary 3 times a day, but it was only to put it on a chair so my young master could sit up higher at the table. I never went to school. I learned to talk pretty good by associating with my masters in their big house.
Well, my master and all the other big white folks, they raised peafowls. We catch them wild things at night when they roost in the pine trees. Then my ma, she would pull the long feathers out of the tails and make fly brushes. In them days, the dining room was big and had the windows open all the summer long. Quick as a mess of victuals come on the table, my ma fetched me in, and I'd get put up in a swing over the table to fan the flies and gnats off the mistress's food. Well, they had to show me just how to hold the brush, because them feathers were so long. If you didn't mind your business, the ends of them feathers would splash in the gravy, and the mistress's table would be all splattered up. Wasn't long before I got used to it, and I took to going to sleep up there.
Let me see a picture one more time. Let me see a picture. Thank you. That's so wonderful. I was going to say, Jenny's house might be a little better than mine was. Jenny, that's a very nice porch. I think our porch was bigger. So we had a room. We had 2 rooms. Jenny got an outhouse. We had an outhouse in back. Okay, Jenny.
Action.
Jenny Proctor, Slave Narratives, Volume 16, Texas. I was here telling them good slave days, but I ain't never seen no good times then. My mother's name was Liza. I don't recollect nothing about my daddy. If I had any brothers and sisters, I didn't know it. I tended to the children when I was a little gal and tried to clean the house just like old Miss tells me to. I recollect once when I was trying to clean the house, I finds me a biscuit. And I was so hungry, I ate it. Because we never see such thing as a biscuit. But when I ate that biscuit, she comes in and say, "Where that biscuit?" I say, "Miss, I ate it because I was so hungry." Then she grabbed that broom and started beating me over the head with it and calling me low down nigger. And I guess I just clean lost my head, because I know better than to fight her if I knowed anything at all. But I start to fight her. And the driver, he comes in, grabs me and starts beating me with that cat o' nine tails. Beats me till I fall to the floor nearly dead. Cut my back all to pieces. Then they rub salt in the cuts for more punishment. Lord, Lord, honey, them was some awful days.
In most states, it was against the law for slaves to be educated. Slave children might play with their young masters and mistresses at home, but they could not go to school with them.
None of us was allowed to see a book or try to learn. They say we get smarter than they was if we learn anything. He slips around, gets a hold of that Webster's old blueback speller. We hides it till way in the night, and then we lights a little pine torch and studies that spelling book. We learn it too.
Boy, C, cat. Oh, Lord, you better not be caught with a book in your hand. If you did, you were sold. Oh, no, now, they didn't allow that.
If you just looked like you wanted to learn to read or write, oh, you got a licking.
By the age of 12, most children were working in the fields. Only a very small number stayed on to become house servants. Slaves who worked in the house were almost always better fed and clothed than the field hands. But they lived under the constant scrutiny of their masters.
Mistress Miller. She used to make my Aunt Caroline knit all day. And when she gets so tired after dark that she gets sleepy, she'd make her stand up and knit. Mistress would work her so hard that she'd go to sleep standing up. And every time her head nod and her knees sag, that lady come down across her head with a switch. That's the way white folks was. Some had hearts. Some had gizzards instead of hearts.
My old missus, a rich old lady.
More than 1/4 of the slave population lived on large plantations with 50 or more slaves, some with several hundred.
George, Eggleston, Robert, Wagoner.
Very few were highly skilled workers.
Magruder, blacksmith, Sam, carpenter, Dudley.
There was just two classes to the white folks. Bucra, slave owners, and poor white folk that didn't own no slaves. There was more classes amongst the slaves. The first class was the house servants. This was the butler, the maids, and the cooks. Then come the cradlers of the wheat, the threshers, and the millers of the corn and the wheat. The lowest class was the common field hand niggas.
Back in Alabama, Mr. Adelaide Carter took me when I was past my creeping days to live in the big house with the white folks. And they was always good to me because I was one of their blood. They never hit me a lick or slapped me once. And they told me that they would never sell me from them. My brother and sister, they lived with the niggas though, because they was mostly nigger. My master used to give me a little money to buy what I wanted. I always bought fine clothes. Oh, when they bought the red shoes from the town, I cried and cried. I say, I don't want to wear no rawhide shoes. So they took them back. I guess they had a weakness for my crying. I drove a carriage, with the white folk. And I was about the most dudish nigger in these parts.
Once, two youngins goes down the hill to the dollhouse where Master Kilpatrick's children are playing. They want to go in the dollhouse. And one of the Kilpatrick boys says, "That's for white children." They say, "We ain't no niggas, because we got the same daddy you has. And he comes to see us near every day and fetches us clothes and things from town." They is fussing, and Missy Kilpatrick is listening out of her chamber window. She heard them white niggas say, "He is our daddy, and we call him daddy when he comes to our house to see our mama."
Many owners and overseers believed that sexual access to slave women was one of their prerogatives. The rape of black women also served to humiliate their husbands and undermine the integrity of slave families.
Lord, child, that was common. Masters and used to make slaves that was with their husbands get up and do as they say. Send husbands out on the farm, milking cows or cutting wood. Then he gets in bed with the slave himself. Some women would fight and tussle, others would be humble, feared of that beating. If they told their husband, he was powerless.
I was one slave that the poor white man had his match. These here old white men said, what I can't do by fair means, I'll do by foul. One tried to throw me, but he couldn't. We tussled and knocked over chairs, and when I got grip, I snatched his face all to pieces, and there was no more bothering Fanny from him. But oh, honey, some slaves would be so beat up when they resisted. And sometimes, if you rebel, they'll see it kill you. Us colored women had to go through plenty, I tell you.
My mother's mistress had 3 boys. 1 21, 1 19, and 1 17. Old mistress had gone away one day, and mother always worked in the house. While she was alone, the boys came in and threw her down on the floor and tied her down so she couldn't struggle. And one after the other used her as long as they wanted for the whole afternoon. Mother was sick when her mistress came home, and when old mistress wanted to know what was the matter with her, she told her what the boys had done. And she whipped them. And that's the way I came to be here.
Oh, Eve, where is Adam? Oh, Eve, Adam in the garden, digging out a leaf. God called Adam, Eve and Adam. My God called him, Adam won't answer. Oh, Adam, oh, Adam, Adam James, Adam won't answer. Oh, Adam, why don't you answer? Who told you, Adam, that you would get? Why God call you? Why don't you answer?
I used to have to pick cotton. Sometimes I picked 300 pounds and towed it a mile to the cotton house. Some picked 300 to 800 pound cotton and have to tote the bag the whole mile to the gin. If they didn't do their work, they get whipped till they have blisters on them. I never get whipped, 'cause I always get my 300 pounds.
Cut.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at that. I'm sorry.
That always gets me at the pride of...
Right. She's right.
Yes. They just...
Before this time another year, I may be gone and some alone Sunday.
Sometimes, slaves who had picked their quota added some of their pickings to those who had been slower or ill. It wasn't always enough.
White folks sure would whip you in them days. They lay you flat on the ground on your face, then they stake you, and so you couldn't get through the ground, much less get up and fly. Take every rag off of you and leave you plumb naked, and then they whip you till the blood come. They whip you straight like this, see? Straight up and down. And then they checker you. In other words, they beat you crosswise, and so your flesh would cut up in squares. You understand?
On many plantations, whippings were public spectacles. Owners used the lash to terrorize as well as to punish their slaves.
My brother January was a big fine nigga. Finest I ever seen. He was just 4 years older than me. And when Master began beating him, January never said a word. The master got madder and madder because he couldn't make January holler. "What's the matter with you, nigga?" he said. "Don't it hurt?" January, he never said nothing. And the master keep a beating till little streams of blood started flowing down his chest, but he never holler. His lips was a-quivering and his body was a-shaking, but his mouth, it never opened. And all the while, I sat on my mammy and pappy's steps a-crying. The niggas was all gathered about and some of them couldn't stand it and they go inside their cabins. After a while, January, he couldn't stand it no longer himself. And he say in a hoarse, loud whisper, "Massa, Massa, have mercy on this poor nigga."
Then they take the salt and red pepper and put it in the wounds.
The skin jerk and quiver and the man slobber and puke. We little niggas stand around see it done.
After he lie in the sun a while, they whip him again. But when they finished with him, he was dead.
When the slave died, Massa make the coffin and send a couple of niggas to bury the body and say, "Don't be long, and no singing or praying allowed. Put him in the ground. Cover him up. Hurry on back to that field."
They put the coffin on the ox cord and carried it to the graveyard. They just had a burial that day. They waited to have the funeral sermon on Sunday or some other time when the crops had been laid out and the other slaves could be on hand.
I read water to my knee. I'm gonna pray.
For enslaved people, funerals were extremely important. The ceremonies reinforced their sense of community and kept alive their African past.
I'm gonna pray till I die. I'm gonna sink and never rise. I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna sink and never rise. I'm gonna pray till I die. With my faith I rise again. I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna pray. With my faith I rise again. I'm gonna pray till I die. Oh Lord have mercy. I'm gonna pray. I'm gonna pray. Lord have mercy.
Yes, and the nigga used to sing to nearly everything he did. It was just the way he expressed his feelings, and it made him relieved. It is a nigga's most joy and his most comfort when he needs all these things. They sing about the joys in the next world and the trouble in this.
Throw me anywhere, Lord, in that old field. Throw me anywhere, Lord, in that old field.
In the fields, niggas like to sing and make up songs. A bunch of go on one side, lift up their head and roll out. And on the other side, pick it up and go the same way and just make up some words. There was lots of just make-up songs.
Child, you ought to hear them niggas singing when they go to work in the morning. Just a singing to beat the band. A cold and frosty morning. The niggas mighty good. Take your axe upon your shoulder, nigga. Talk to the wood.
This time tomorrow night.
Sometimes they sing this sorrowful cause some niggas have been beat or whipped or sold away.
Down to Tennessee. I've been down on my bending knees, talking to the man from Galilee.
During the hard times of the Depression, when the slave narratives were collected, most ex-slaves were still living in extreme poverty.
Great God Almighty, let me tell you what he said. And they run on for a long time.
Yes, I was born a slave. And so was Rosa. We got out of the chattel slavery, and I was better off for getting out, but Rosa don't think so. She says all we got freed for is to starve to death. She says her white folks were good to her, but don't you expect me to love my white folks. I love them like a dog loves a hickory switch. I can say these things now. I'd say them anywhere, in the courthouse, before the judge, before God, because they done all to me they can do. I'm done past everything but worrying about Rosa, because she don't get enough to eat and because she feels bad all the time. But there ain't no complaining in her. Mama, how you feel in the sun?
Best to be expected this time of year.
I was born in Georgia on a farm. My mother's name was Lucinda. I heard other Negroes say she was a good woman, but she died when I was a little boy, not more than 3 or 4. She left my little brother a crawling baby, about 11 months old. I can remember crying for my mama, being lonesome for her. My little brother was pitiful, plumb pitiful. We had to sleep on the floor in the cabin, huddled together in the cold weather, so we wouldn't freeze to death. Our life was a misery. I hate the white man every time I think being no more than animals. My father was a blacksmith. Rosa never did know much about her father. Hey, Mom?
That's right. I never did know nothing about my pa, but I looked on my mama like a savior. Her name was Hannah Clemon, and Dr. Andrews, my master, had always owned her. Now, Dr. Andrews was a good man and a good liver. Dr. Andrews had about 12 slaves. The neighbors used to say, "There goes old Andrews, free niggers." That's because he never hardly whipped them and gave them rest and playtime. And he doctored us when we were sick and took good care of us. We had good little cabins, and we had cotton mattresses and blankets. We had enough to eat, too.
Slave quarters were usually a group of log cabins with dirt floors. Although living conditions varied from place to place, slaves were provided with only the bare minimum. Beds might be planks with rope slats and grass mattresses. Food supplies were usually given out weekly: cornmeal, molasses, and sometimes a little pork.
Sometimes, Master let niggas have a little patch. They raise taters or goobers, peanuts. They like to have them to help out on the victuals. The niggas had to work the patches at night and dig the taters and goobers at night. Then if they wanted to sell any in town, they'd have to get a pass to go. They had to go at night because they could never spare a hand from the fields.
We got one pair of shoes a year. When they wore out, we went barefooted. Sometimes we tied up with strings, and they were so raggedy that the tracks looked like bird tracks when we walked in the road. My brother wore his shoes out and had none all through the winter. His feet cracked open and bled so bad you could track him by the blood.
Get up, children, roll down the wall. Don't want to stand alone, I don't want to fall now. Get up, children.
Well, I remember quite well how those Polo children used to have to eat. They were fed in boxes and troughs under the house. They were fed cornmeal mush and beans. When this was poured into their box, they would gather around it, the same as we see pigs, horses, and cattle gather around troughs today.
Go round the wall. I don't want to stumble and I don't want to fall. Now that suits me, that suits me, that suits me.
Oh, us never got enough to eat. So us keep stealing stuff. Us had to.
Course we know it was wrong to steal, but the niggas had to steal to get something to eat. I know I did. I got so hungry, I steal chickens off their roosts. Yes, I did. Chickens used to roost on the fence stand right out in the night. We'd cook the chicken at night, eat him, and burn the feathers.
They talks a heap about the niggas stealing. Well, you know what was the first stealing done? It was in Africa, when the white folks stole the niggas just like you'd go get a drove of horses and sell them. But since the Lord saved me from a life of sin, I don't think about them things.
Who tell you move that? Who tell you move that? Go the other way. Go the other way. There ain't no way.
The first enslaved people in America were reluctant to accept the religious masters, but during the 19th century, thousands of slaves began turning to Christianity. They infused this adopted religion with a new spirituality and with African traditions.
Go the other way. Go the other way. Go the other way. Go the other way. Send my way. Send my way. Send my way.
Many owners hoped that Christianity might make their slaves more docile and encourage them to convert. On Sundays, niggas had to sit and listen to the white man's sermon. Obey your master, be good servant. Can't tell you how many times I done heard that text preached on. They tell the slave that if he be good, work hard for his master, that he would go to heaven and that he gonna live a life of ease. They ain't never tell him he gonna be free in heaven.
Steal away. Steal away.
When the niggas go around singing, steal away to Jesus, that mean there's gonna be a religious meeting that night. The master didn't like them religious meetings, and so us naturally slips off at night, down in the bottoms or somewhere else.
Swing low, sweet chariot.
Sometimes us sing and pray all night.
Sweet chariot, come for to carry me.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
We pray for the end of tribulation and the end of beating and for shoes that fit our feet. We prayed that us niggas could have all we want to eat and special for fresh meat. Some of the old ones say we have to bear all because that's all we can do. Some say they was glad to the time they did because they rather rot in the ground than have the beatings.
Okay, now, all my life, I've heard of the patty rollers. Yeah. Now you have the paddle rollers. Mm-hmm. I know patty rollers is the common term.
Yeah, I think you should say patty rollers.
My
I never heard
grandparents
of
were from Georgia, and they both said
patty rollers.
In fact, when they were really angry with white people, they referred to them as patties.
Mm-hmm. Action.
Marshall Butler, Slave Narratives, Volume 4, Georgia. I's Marshall Butler, 88 years old, and was born on December 25th. I knows it was Christmas Day, for I was a gift to my folks. Mammy was a Frank collar nigger, and her man was of the tribe of Ben Butler, some miles down the road. It was one of them trial marriages. They's tried so hard to see each other, but old Ben Butler said 2 passes a week were enough to see my mammy on the collar plantation. Now, if a nigga went out without a pass, the patty rollers would get him. The white folks were the patty rollers. They used straps with the belt buckle fastened on. Oh, yes, sir. I got paddle. Happened this way. I left home one Thursday to see a gal on the Palmer plantation, 5 miles away. Some gal, no, I ain't get no pass. The boss was so busy, but everything was fine till my return trip. I was 2 miles out, 3 miles to go. And there come the patty rollers. I was so scared I couldn't move. Oh, they give me 30 licks, and I ran the rest of the way home. There's belt buckles all over me. Ate my victuals off the porch railings. Some gal. Was worth that paddling to see that gal. Do it all over again to see Mary the next night. Oh, Jane, love me like you used to, Jane. Chew me like you used to. Every time I figure, my heart gets bigger. Sorry, can't be your piper no more. That's some gal.
My darling. Slave opportunity to go courting on Saturday nights on their own or on neighboring plantations.
My darling. Girls would put on a spare dress if they had one, and men would put on a clean shirt. Girls always try to fix up for partying, even if they ain't got nothing but a piece of ribbon to tie in their hair. Wasn't none of this sinful dancing where you partner off with man and woman squeezed up close to one another. That's respectable, the slaves did. Shifting round from one partner to another and holding one another out at arm's length.
Saturday night, Sunday too, young girls on my mind.
I remembers that when us courted, us went to walk and hunted chestnuts. We'd string them and put them around our necks and smile at our fellas.
Ooh, Peggy, do you love me now?
Papa's name was Tom Vaughn, and he was from the North, born free man and lived and died free to the end of his days. He saw my ma on the Kilpatrick place, and her man was dead. He told Dr. Kilpatrick, my master, he'd buy my ma and her 3 children with all the money he had, if he'd sell her. But Dr. Kilpatrick was never one to sell any but the old niggas who was past working in the fields and past the breeding times. So my pa marries my ma and works the fields, same as any other nigga.
Sometimes the wedding ceremonies were held in the slave cabins. Other times, they were orchestrated by the owners.
Take her down and Drew is wing.
I married Exeter Durham. He belonged to Master Snipes Durham, who had the plantation in Orange County. Oh, we had a big wedding. We was married on the front porch of the big house. I had a white dress, white shoes, gloves that came up to my elbow, and Miss Betsy done made me a wedding veil out of a white net window curtain. After Uncle Edmund said the last words over me and Exter, Master George say, "Come on, Exter. You and Tempe got to jump over the broomstick. You got to do that to see which one of you gonna be the boss of the household." I jumped first, and you ought to see me. I sailed right over that broomstick, same as a cricket. But when Exter jumped, his feet were so big and clumsy that they got all tangled up in that broom, and he fell headlong. After the wedding, we went down to the cabin Miss Betsy done all dressed up. But Exter couldn't stay no longer than that night because he belonged to Mars Snipes Durham, and he had to go back home. He left the next day for his plantation. He come back every Saturday night and stayed till Sunday. And we had 11 children.
Some owners respected slave marriages, but the marriages had no legal standing and could be broken apart at the owner's whim. Owners had their own reasons for pairing up certain slaves.
After I'd been at his place about a year, the master come to me and say, "You gonna live with Rufus in that cabin over yonder. Go fix it for living." I was about 16 years old and had no learning, and I was just an ignorant child. I said to myself, I's not gonna live with that Rufus. Well, the next day the master calls me and tells me, "Woman, I's paying big money for you, and I's done that 'cause I want you to raise me children. You a big portly gal. Rufus is a big portly man. I want y'all to bring forth portly children. I's put you to live with Rufus for that purpose. Now, if you don't want whipping at the stake, you do what I wants." Oh, I thinks about master buying me from the block, saving me from being separated from my folks. And then I thinks about being whipped at the stake. What am I to do? So I decides to do as the master wish. So I yields.
Many people interviewed for the slave narratives lived far from the plantations where they were born. As children, a large number had been relocated to other parts of the country.
I was born in Kentucky, somewhere near Louisville. I was brought to Missouri when I was 6 months old with my mama, who was a slave owned by a man named Shaw, who had allotted her to a man named Jimmy Graves. When a slave was allotted, somebody made a down payment and gave a mortgage for the rest. A chattel mortgage. A down payment. Times don't change. Just the merchandise.
As cotton became more and more profitable, plantations spread to the Deep South, as well as states and territories to the west. Between 1800 and 1860, 1 million slaves were forcibly transported to new locations.
Sale of valuable slaves. Sarah, age 45 years. Dennis, her son, age 24 years.
About a third of slave families were split apart.
Fanny, her daughter, is a superior hairdresser.
And a fifth of the children were sold away from one or both parents.
Mary Ann, her child, age 7 years. You're smart, active, and intelligent.
When I was about 6 or 7 years old, I reckon it was Mr. Garrett bought 10 of us children in North Carolina and sent 2 white men to fetch us back in wagons. And he fetched old Julie Powell to look after us. They never bought my mammy, so I had to leave her behind. Mammy said to old Julie, "Take care of my baby child." That was me. And if I never sees her no more, raise her for God. Then she fell off the wagon where it was all of us was sitting and just rolled over on the ground, just a-crying. But us was eating candy that they done give us to keep us quiet. And I didn't have sense enough for to know what ailed Mammy, but I knows now. And I never seen her no more in this life. Her name was Rachel Powell.
Negroes wanted. The undersigned wish to purchase a large number of Negroes for which they will pay the highest prices in cash.
Lord child, I remember when I was a little boy, about 10 years, the speculators come through Newton with droves of slaves. The poor critters nearly froze to death, just run along on the ground, all spewed up with ice. The speculators always rode on horses and drove the poor nigger. When they get cold, they make them run till they're warm again. Lord, miss, them slaves look just like droves of turkeys running along in front of them horses.
There was a trader yard in Virginia and one in New Orleans. Sometimes 1,000 slaves were waiting to be sold.
Great sale of slaves. There will be offered for sale at public auction 3 bucks, strong, able-bodied. 1 wench, Sally, age 42. 1 buck, age 52. Good kennel man.
When the traders knew men were coming to buy, they made the slaves all clean up and grease their mouths with meat skins to look like they were feeding them plenty of meat.
Talk about something awful. You should have been there. The slave owners was shouting and selling children to one man and the mama and pappy to another.
I was just a little thing, tucked away from my mammy and pappy just when I need them most. I remembers that I was took up on a stand and a lot of people come round and felt my arms and legs and chest and asked me a lot of questions.
I remember when they put them on the block to sell them. The ones between 18 and 30 always bring the most money. The auctioneer, he stand off at a distance and cry them off as they stand on the block. I can hear his voice as long as I live. If they put up a young nigger woman, the auctioneer would cry out, "And here's a young nigger wench. How much am I offered for her?"
How much am I offered for her?
The seller would have her turn around and plump her to show how fat she was and her general condition.
14, do I help you?
They would also take her by her breasts and pull them to show how good she was built for raising children.
16, give me 16. Sold for $1,500. Louisa, age 24.
If the one they was going to sell was a young Negro man, this is what he say. "Now, gentlemen and fellow citizens, here's a big black buck Negro.
This is a big black buck Negro. He's stout as a mule and good for any kind of work. And he'll never give you any trouble. How much am I offered for him?"
And then the sale would commence, and the nigger would be sold to the highest bidder.
28, no, 27, sold for $2,700. Number 1, Bricklayer and Mason, being in full for the purchase of said slave for life.
Run, Mary, run. Whoa, run, Martha, run. Well, Hail Mary, run, I say. You got a right to the tree of life. Little Mary, you got a right. You got a right to the tree of life. You got a right, you got a right. You got a right to the tree of life.
If I had my life to live over, I would die fighting rather than be a slave again. I want no man's yoke on my shoulders no more. Now, my father, he was a fighter. He was as mean as a bear. He was so bad to fight and so troublesome, he was sold 4 times to my knowing, maybe a heap more times.
I fooled old master 7 years, fooled the old seer 3. Hand me down my banjo, I tickle your belly.
Slaves who openly defied their masters received the harshest punishment. But one act of resistance ran the greatest risk of all.
I'm gonna run to the juice, gonna rap it, run along.
Escape from slavery was extremely difficult, and the penalty for being caught would be mutilation or death. In spite of such risks, about 50,000 slaves ran away each year. But patty rollers were well rewarded for capturing escaped slaves, and very few runaways succeeded.
In the field, and he kept joiking the mules, and Master all got mad, and he gave me a gun and said, "Cato, go out there and kill that man." I say, "Master, please don't tell me that. I ain't never killed nobody, and I don't want to." He said, "Cato, you do what I tell you to do." And he meant it. So I go out to the nigger, and I say, "You gotta leave this place this minute. And I is too, because I supposed to kill you, and I ain't. And Master he gonna kill me." So he dropped his rein and we run and we crawled through the fence and we ran away. I hated to go, but today I is an old man, and men's ain't stained with no blood.
$600 reward for 3 Negro slaves named Henry Morsell ran away from the subscriber, a Negro man about 22 years old, of dark color, several of his jaws teeth out, and upon his body are several marks of the whip.
I mixed up my mind. I was going to run off the first chance I get. When the meat supply run low, Master send me to go kill a deer or a wild hog and bring home some meat. He says not to go off the plantation too far. This the chance I've been wanting. I crosses the river and goes north. I's going to free country where there ain't no slaves. I travels all that day and night up the river and follows the North Star. Several times I think the bloodhounds have trailing me, and I gets in a big hurry. I'm so tired I can hardly move. I'm hoping all the time I meets up with that Harriet Tubman woman. And she the colored woman would take slaves to Canada.
The Underground Railroad was an informal network of safe houses and assistance for runaway slaves.
I didn't have no idea of ever getting mixed up in any sort of business like that until one special night. I'd gone over to another plantation courting. Yeah. And an old woman told me she had a real pretty girl there who wanted to go across the river to the free state of Ohio, and would I take her? Now, I was scared, and I backed out in a hurry. But then I saw this gal, and she was such a pretty little thing. Wasn't long before I was listening to the old woman tell me when to take her and where to leave her on the other side. Now, I don't know how I ever rode that boat across that river. That current was so strong, and I was trembling, and I couldn't see a thing there in the dark. but I felt that girl's eye. It was a long time rowing there in the cold and worrying. But it was a short time because as soon as I did get on the other side, that big-eyed girl would be gone. There in Ripley, Ohio, it was a regular station for escaping slaves. It always meant freedom for a slave if he could get to that big lighthouse. Pretty soon, I saw a tall light. When I got up to it, two men reached down and grabbed it. I started trembling all over again, praying, and one of the men took my arm. And I just felt down inside of me that the Lord had got ready for me. "You hungry, boy?" is what he asked me. And if he hadn't been holding on to me, I think I would have fell backward into the river. That was my first trip. Took me a long time to get over my scared feeling. I finally did, and I soon found myself going back across the river with 2 and 3 people, and sometimes a whole boatload. It got so I used to make 3 and 4 trips a month. Now, I've never saw my passengers. It would have to be the black nights of the moon I would carry them. And didn't many of them stay around that part of Ohio because there's too much danger that you would be walking along free one night, feel a hand over your mouth, and be back across the river and in slavery again in the morning. And nobody in the world ever got a chance to know as much misery as a slave that had escaped and been caught.
Your mama gone away and my daddy gonna stay. Didn't leave nobody but the baby.
Aunt Jeannie was just out of bed with a suckling baby one time, and she ran away. She don't come to the house to nurse her baby, so they misses her. And old Solomon gets the nigger hounds to take trail. They gets near, and she grabs a limb and tries to hoist herself in a tree. But them dogs grab her and pull her down. The men hollers them on to her, and the dogs tore her naked and ate the breast plumb off her body. She got well, lived to be an old woman. But another woman had to suck her baby, and she ain't got no sign of breast no more.
Finally, I decided to take my freedom too. I had a wife by this time, and one night we quietly slipped across. I could see the light, but the harder I rode, the farther away it got. But finally, I pulled up by the lighthouse and went on to my freedom just a few months before all the slaves got theirs. I didn't stay in Ripley, though. I wasn't taking no chances. I went on to Detroit, and I still live there with most of 10 children and 31 grandchildren. And the bigger ones, you don't care much about hearing it now, but the little ones never get tired of hearing how their grandpa brought emancipation to loads of slaves he could touch and feel, but never see. So he would do 3 or 4 trips a month, but that would be with when the moon, before the moon came back out.
Right.
So when the moon went in, that's when they'd have to move.
Yeah.
You never saw their faces, don't know who they
their
are.
voices, and sometimes not even that, just touch, because they had to be quiet too.
What a disconnect. What an amazing disconnect that people that we're here and our folks are saved by people that we'll never know who it was.
Yeah.
Can't actually say thank you.
Exactly.
The
outbreak of the Civil War opened the way for thousands more slaves to escape bondage. But in large areas of the South, the freedom promised by the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863 depended on a Union victory.
Ooh, oh, Massa, he get boiling mad when the Yankees scattered the Confederates all down through our country. Then he tell us the law. You all ain't going to get free by them. When they get here, they're going to find you already free. Because I'm going to line you up on the bank of the creek and free you with my shotgun. Anybody miss just one lick with the hoe or one step in the line, and he gonna be free and talking to the devil long before he ever see a pair of blue breeches.
One morning soon, my lord, one morning soon.
Despite threats of slave owners, many slaves fled their masters to fight for the North. 200,000 slaves and former slaves enlisted as Union soldiers and sailors.
Benton Barracks Hospital, St. Louis, Missouri, September 3rd, 1864. My children, I take my pen in hand to write you a few lines to let you know that I have not forgot you and that I want to see you as bad as ever. On the 28th of the month, 800 white and 800 black soldiers expects to start up the river. When they come, I expect to be with them and expect to get you both in return. Be assured that I will have you if it costs me my life. Oh, my dear children, how I want to see you. Spotswood Rice.
Blow, Gabriel. Judgment. I want to blow your trumpet. Judgment bow. As loud as you can. Judgment. I want to wake my people. Judgment bow. Wherever they be. Judgment. I want to let us see. Judgment bow. Judgment bow. Judgment. Look, you want to come. Judgment bow. I want to walk my line. Judgment. Go see my mother. Judgment bow. And my brother too. Judgment. Blow, Gabriel. Judgment bow. Oh, Gabriel. Judgment.
I'm in the persimmon tree, eating persimmons, and my sister Mary just come running. She said, "Us niggas am free." I looked over to the house and seen the niggas piling their little bunch of clothes and things outside the cabins. Then Mammy come running with some other niggas. I climbed down out that tree and run to meet her. We gets up to the house and all the niggas standing there with the little bundles on their heads, and they all say, "Where we going?" We all cries and sings and prays and was so excited. We ain't eat no supper.
That morning, go to the cotton field early. And after a while, the old horn blow. And we all stop and listen, because it's the wrong time of the day for the horn. We start chopping again. And there go the horn again. The lead row nigga holler, "Hold up. We better go on in. That's our horn." So we line up and go in. Well, sitting on the gallery in a high-bottom chair was a man we'd never seen before. He had on a big, broad black hat, like the Yankees wore. His hair was plum gray, And so was his beard. And it come down right down here on his chest. The man say, "You darkies know what day this is?" And the headman say, "No, we don't know." "Well, this is the 4th day of June, and this is 1865. And I want you all to remember the date, because you always gonna remember the day. Today, you is free, just like I is, and Mr. Saunders, and your misters, and all us white people. I come to tell you," he say, "I wants to be sure you all understand. Because you don't have to get up and go by the horn no more. You is your own bosses now. And I wants to bless you and hope you always is happy and tell you you got all the right in life that any white people got." And then he get on his horse and ride off. It was the 4th day of June in 1865. I begins to live.
Even though the slaves had been emancipated, their struggle to escape the oppression of slavery was just beginning. But they were finally free to reunite with their families, legalize their marriages, and live and work for themselves.
Master Ingram had 350 slaves when the war was over, but he didn't turn us loose till a year after surrender. He told us the government was going to give us 40 acres of land and a pair of mules, but we didn't get nothing.
I remember so well how the roads was full of folks walking along when the niggas were free, didn't know where they was going, just going to see about something else, somewhere else. Meet a body in the road and they ask, "Where you going?" "Don't know." "What you gonna do?" "Don't know." And I begins to think and to know I never had to be a slave no more.
No more auction block for me. No more,
Omaha, the birds, the bluffs. Oh yeah, you've been listening to some slave narratives. Oh yes, we's on the plantation. We's on the plantation, 2 feet in. Oh yeah, I had to let y'all. You know, I can tell you, my mama, the actual slave house, the actual plantation house, still exists in Mississippi. So I do this for real. So y'all stirred up the wrong brother. Y'all stirred up the wrong brothers to tell me to stay on the plantation. And for those young brothers that are suffering over at Creighton University, and none of these Negro leaders are standing up for them, I'm gonna let you know that you got an ally over here, because they did the same thing when I was in college. They wouldn't put my black face in Fremont Tribune. Oh no, they wouldn't do it. And so I had to use my intelligent wealth that my mama gave me, even though she couldn't read and write. I had to protest while my mama and my sister was in the crowd, and my brothers and sisters from Midland Lutheran College, oh yeah, they protested with me while I played. And the NAACP back then in 1987 got involved, and they pressured the Fremont Tribune to make sure that they put my black face in their newspaper. Now they'll write about me. I was an All-American, all conference in basketball, All-American in track. So man, they should write about me, but they wouldn't put my black face in there. So I feel those players when they talking about, oh, 2 feet in, we want you on the plantation. Oh yeah. And so I got your back. And so since this is how we used to behave in the projects, we used to, give tough love. And Creighton is a neighbor of ours. They on 24th and Cummings, but everything north of Cummings, they feel is a plantation. And so I'm gonna remind them every day of what the suffering has gone on the plantation, and it's still going on right now. And so we got 4 men in the house. I don't know. They're expecting this type of show, but they usually on Sunday praising God. But as you seen, these former slaves had refuge in God. I mean, that was their final refuge, because if they was caught with a book, oh man, they were hung immediately. They was made an example of. But the so-called man, let them have the Bible. And so we got 4 brothers that came in the building. They do a show on 660 AM KCRO. They're on Sunday at 1:00. And then they're on you're in Lincoln too, what, 101, 102.7? Yeah. Yeah, 106.7 in Lincoln. So they're doing the thing. And so we're gonna talk about their show. And then we're gonna just dialogue on what they want to talk about. All right. So let me transition to some music real quick. And so I got a few. See, y'all got white friends or black friends. I got white homeboys. And so a couple of my white homeboys hit me and said, Bill, I love the show, blood show. Keep being William King. All right now. That's my white homeboy. See, you're friends. So I do this for real, man. I do this for real. And so we all need a little Jesus right now. I'm gonna give y'all some Jesus, all right? And then we're gonna bring the brothers on, because I need a little help every once in a while. I told you today is Tell the Truth Tuesday, so I gotta tell the truth. We actually practice behavioral modification so we can improve self, our family, and our community. We do this for real, man, for real. And so today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. I had to tell the truth of what's the true life of the plantation. Since y'all think 2-day suspension is okay for saying plantation, 2 feet in, I need y'all Negroes to stay on the plantation. I'm gonna let y'all know what happened on the plantation. All right, since OPS ain't doing it, we're gonna do it here at the Boss. All right, but in the meantime, I'm asking y'all to pray for me. And everybody needs the Lord's help. Boss with me.
Thank you, God. I thank you for everything that you done brought me through. Everything that I was ever facing. And when it seemed like everybody was against me, you said you would never leave me nor forsake me.
The Lord is my help, my help. The Lord is my help, my help. No matter what I'm going through, he'll always pull me through. No matter what I'm going through, he'll always prove his truth. The Lord is my help, my help. The Lord is my help, my help. No matter what I'm going through, he'll always pull me through. No matter what I'm going through, he'll always prove his truth. These enemies that I'm facing be trying to take me under. They always plotting and scheming and causing double trouble. I need you on the double time like it's no tomorrow. So many traps and ditches, they never stop digging. They want to see me fall off, they even see me die. But with the Lord on my side, all I can do is rise. That's why I'm always praying. That's why I'm always saying, the Lord is with me always, no matter what I'm facing. I am a child of God. I am the seed of David. We sit in heavenly places around the Almighty, chosen in highly favor, blessed and not cursed. I am above and not beneath, because I am not weak. The Lord is my strength, my mighty high tower, so he will never let my enemies come and defeat me. I got the is mine, because I already won. Me being down on my knees is where I need to be. Is praying. The Lord is my help, my help. My help, no matter what I'm going through, he'll always pull me through. No matter what I'm going through, he'll always prove his truth. The Lord is my help, my help. The Lord is my help, my help. No matter what I'm going through, he'll always pull me through. No matter what I'm going through, he'll always prove his truth. Prayer is my position, that's when he really listens. Because when I gave him my life, that was the golden ticket. I'll never be defeated, he'll never take me out. This house is built on the rock, hell shall not prevail. God is the head of my life, not anybody else. Yes, I belong to him, there's no denying him. So if you're messing with me, you gotta deal with him. Cause all I gotta do is tell them it is going down. My enemies are defeated before I even think it. My enemies are defeated before I even speak it. You might have got me in the battle, but I won the war. You might have got me in the battle, but I won the war. Cause in the end, my God got the last word. Cause in the end, my God got the last word. This round I'm coming back, and with a battle axe. The Lord is my battle axe, I'm back, let's get it. The Lord is my help. My help, the Lord is my help, my help. No matter what I'm going through, He'll always pull me through. No matter what I'm going through, He'll always do His true. The Lord is my help, my help. The Lord is my help, my help. No matter what I'm going through, He'll always pull me through. No matter what I'm going through, He'll always do His true. No matter what I'm going through, you always got my back. No matter what they try to do, I always bounce back. Because of you, I can stand tall through it all. You said you'll always be there for me no matter what. You got me, so in you is where I put my trust. You said you'll never turn your back on me no matter what. And when I call on your name, you answer me speedily. So Lord, I'm calling on your name, cause I know you hear me. The Lord is my help. My help, the Lord is my help, my help. No matter what I'm going through, He'll always pull me through. No matter what I'm going through, He'll always do His true. The Lord is my help, my help. The Lord is my help, my help. No matter what I'm going through, He'll always pull me through. No matter what I'm going through, He'll always do His true. The Lord is my help, my help. The Lord is my help, my help. No matter what I'm going through, He'll always do.
The Lord is my help. And you know what they're doing down at St. Benedict? Oh yeah, they feeding the people, man. That's what Jesus did.
No matter what I'm going through, He'll always pull me through. No matter what I'm going through, He'll always do His true.
Oh yeah. Down at St. Benedict this morning, y'all, starting at 9 o'clock. You know what? The Lord is my help, and He's all of our help, without a doubt. So hopefully you guys got a chance to learn something this morning from the slave narratives that we played earlier. But again, St. Benedict is giving out free milk, meat, eggs, vegetables, and fruit. They're doing it every Tuesday, but they start at 9 o'clock to noon today. And so if you know someone is in need, go down to St. Benedict. There, what's the address? What's the address on 24th or something? I can't remember. Well, you know, you guys Google it. Hey, you guys go in the middle room and sit down. Okay. So we go in there and St. Benedict, everybody know where St. Benedict is, you know, right next to, where I used to ball on y'all. Bryan Center, where I used to ball on y'all. Y'all know where it is. In Omaha, Nebraska, we got some distinguished gentlemen. And I like to say the word, that big word, distinguished. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Say it again.
Distinguished. You know what I mean? You know, I don't know how to spell it. I know it starts with a D. I know I spell it D. But no, I got 4 gentlemen in house, and they do a show on the AM dial 16. I'm telling my 660 KCRO, and they broadcast every Sunday at 1 o'clock locally here in Omaha. And where do you guys broadcast? What's the dial in Lincoln?
106.7.
106.7 in Lincoln at 1 o'clock on Sunday. So, you know, they doing double time. They in one place, but they broadcast in 2 places. I don't know how these guys do it, but they're magical. And so, like I said, you know how these stars are, Omaha. You know how these stars are. They got their own nouns, verbs, adjectives, prepositional phrases, all yes and predicates to introduce themselves. And then I wanted them to introduce themselves because it's sometimes people got to see that brothers actually love each other, that we actually get along no matter what platform we're on, no matter what religion we are, no matter what we are.
Right.
It's good to see that brothers get along and that we break the stereotype. We all look different, but we all handsome though, but we all look handsomely different.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so which is necessary. God loves different. Well, once we're all the same, it wouldn't be how can we tell who's who?
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's true.
And so everyone is unique. And so these gentlemen broadcast on Sunday. I'm glad that We are on another platform because it's diversity and as many platforms is necessary for we can get our message out.
Right.
It's important. And it's not competition because we all are on the same mission.
Right.
And so I want to let you guys introduce yourself. I don't know what we're talking about today, but we're going to hopefully bring some attention to today's show on Sunday. Make sure you guys focus on them on Sunday because we don't broadcast on Sunday. We just chill. So you might as well, hang out with the four brothers. They look handsome, and I know they all married and stuff and all that stuff. So ladies, chill. I don't know. Maybe they are married. I don't know. They got rings on and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The Lord is my help. My help.
Okay, we're gonna start like you is good. You are good.
All right, so gentlemen, so why don't y'all let the people know who y'all are, and then we can get right into the dialogue.
All right. I'm Pastor James E. Hunter. The name of our program is AJDW. And the AJDW conversation, thank you, Alan. And the way we came up with that name, our leader, David Newsom, came up with the first initial of our first names.
Mm-hmm.
It stands for Alan, James, David, and Walter. And it goes in accordance to our age.
Okay.
Alan's the oldest, then me, then David, then baby boy Walter.
Okay.
All right. So we have with us, it's four gentlemen from different backgrounds, church backgrounds. We come from, but the thing that draws us together is that we love God.
Right.
We got one Methodist, one Baptist,
Okay.
one Apostolic, and one Church of God in Christ.
Okay.
But we all love God.
Yeah, without doubt.
All right. And so the four of us are, again, my name is Pastor James E. Hunter. We got our fearless leader, David Newsom, the maestro himself. And then we got Alan T. Black, the author, and then Walter Bowtie Williams.
All right.
That's who we are.
The fashionado.
Okay, now, since you are the spokesperson, the pastor always take the mic first. The pastors always take the mic first. You know what I mean? So pastor, how do you guys even collaborate? Because when I seen it, when I saw the pair, I said, "Damn, them bro look smooth. Them bro look smooth." So how do you guys even collaborate? How did it even come about? I know you guys had to be friends first of all, but how did you get the collaboration, especially with this young man? Mm-hmm. How did you get him in the mix?
Well, it all started with a vision and a dream, and David can elaborate on this. David had this idea of bringing some guys together and just having conversation, black men,
Mm-hmm.
black men,
right,
to talk about the different issues that's going on in our community and in our world. And so David had a relationship with all three of us in one shape, form, or fashion. He knew us, and so he thought that what it would be to bring all four of us together. David, talk a little bit about it.
So Walter and I had
get a slide here. There you go.
Walter and I had a podcast, and we were doing a podcast. And my profession is a stylist. I'm a hairstylist. That's what I do. And so I was talking to Walter about doing a podcast, and so Walter said, "Oh, let's do that together." He said, you know, I love fashion, and I know you love to do the looks, the hair and everything. And I said, yeah. Right. I said, let's do that. So we began to bring that together. But at the same time, we brought a whole bunch of other information together, just life itself.
Right.
And I felt like, I said, Walter, there needs to be more of us. It's just us two, but there's some other ones out there. And I think the most important thing today for what we all are focused with, what we are focused on, racism and all the stuff. I just think that it's so important if you get other ideologies of other men in it. So that's when I reached out to Pastor Hunter and Alan Black and asked them if we could all come together and let's start working a podcast together. And that's when it all just took off, And I think one of the most important things in the world right now is us unifying, us coming together. We can't blame anybody for the way things are unless we come together.
I agree with you totally.
That's what we have to do. You know, we are our greatest support. We are our greatest advocates. We understand where we've come from.
Mm-hmm.
We understand the life and the aspect that we've lived in. We all have the same backgrounds when it comes to what we came from.
Right.
The slavery initiative, we all understand that. We have the compassion for who we are and what we are. And it's okay to have other friends. It's okay to have people, like you said, your homeboy. I got a few homeboys my own self,
right.
You know, and that are not necessarily black, you know, they're
Right.
white. And so I think that's healthy.
Yeah.
But I think on the other side of that, we as black men, we build the core of families. We help set the destiny. And we should add to that by being unified.
Without a doubt. Now, Brother Walter, you're the youngest in the crew. Your dialogue, what's your dialogue about? Yeah, I know even though it's Sunday, people still live on Sunday. You know,
Right.
they still live regular life on Sunday. I know.
Yep, they do.
So what's your dialogue about, Walter?
Well, you know, being the youngest of the group, it's actually a privilege because I get a chance to talk with men of God, men of life, and get a chance to talk to them about things that I'm going to go through that they've already gone through. So I come from that perspective a lot of times, and that's phenomenal. I have 3 different examples of that. And I can always go to either one of them, ask them, or if I'm kind of struggling with something, I may not say that to them, but I can kind of, maybe throw a question out there and get an idea. You know how we go. I know somebody's dealing with this. And you don't really want to say it, maybe you, but they'll maybe give my answer, give me something, give me a way they handle it, and then I kind of, okay, that's a good way to handle it. I'm gonna do that. So that's what I look at it as. And then just being able to communicate with people. I try to be a great communicator in my profession that I do on an everyday basis. I'm a professional spokesperson for organizations and out there. And so I talk to a lot of people every single day. And so that allows me to be able to have dialogue with different types of people, because one of the things I do is I study communication, because I have to be able to talk to different types of people. I cover Iowa, Nebraska, and there's some parts of Iowa, Nebraska, you don't see none of us out there. And so I have to know how to communicate to those folks when I'm out there. Scotts Bluff and Dubuque, there ain't a lot of us out there. But if I can communicate and make a presence and be able to have a conversation with people, that allows me to do that. So that's how my being younger allows me to be in the same conversation with these gentlemen.
Now, Brother Black, you are the patriarch. The patriarch.
What? I gotta look at what I'm gonna do. Just be that way.
Yep. We always gotta give, respect to the elders.
Right.
Elders for counsel, young men for war. And so we always give it to the patriarch. And your altar. So your altars usually have the ability to catch history or to see the future with their pen. What's your vision? What's your role in even this group? Because to me, everything happened for a reason. Nothing, especially when it's in the name of God, everything happened for a reason in the timeline of freedom. So what is your role, and what is your guys' role in the timeline of freedom?
I think in terms of my particular role, it is, and what I try to share each Sunday with these outstanding gentlemen are my perspectives and my experiences that I've gone through in life. And I'm very transparent. I think they all would agree with that. I've shared things that I've had to experience in terms of growing up in Omaha, growing up through the 60s, having to deal face to face with not just covert racism, but overt, like in your face.
Right.
And so I share these things and how it has shaped and molded me over the course of my life. But I also try to convey to each of these brothers and to the audience that no matter what you're dealing with, the enemy is going to always put something in your face to try to put you down. Right. But because of who we are, our legacy, our history as a people, don't ever let anything defeat you, because we come from kings and queens. We've been to hell and back over and over again, but still we rise. And so I share that on a Sunday basis in terms of you trust in the Lord, you take your steps of faith. They're not going to be easy, but God never promised that it would be easy for any of us. And so that's kind of what I share, what I see in terms of the vision for the future. And this is kind of projecting over the next 20 to 30 years. There's going to be a shift in America, and it's already happening, in terms of how things are going to play out socially, politically, economically. And that's the reason you see the strife, the blowback from the other side, because they can see what's happening. They can see the handwriting on the wall, and they don't like it. But the truth of the matter is you cannot stop what God has destined to occur.
Right.
So in the next 20 to 30 years, I'm just going to put it plain. They're going to be the minority. And they're going to have to get used to it.
Who are they?
White folk.
Oh, okay.
I said it. Very simple.
Yeah.
It's the truth, is the truth, is the truth. They're going to be a minority.
Mm-hmm.
Because in 20 to 30 years, it'll be the Hispanic population, it'll be African-American population, Asian American population. That's where it's going to be 2030, 2040, 2050. So America is changing.
Mm-hmm. But they'll be the minority only if we as a people become united.
That's the, you can have 10 gazillion people.
That's right.
And you are not unified.
That's right.
Then it doesn't matter what your numbers are going to be.
Right.
So
that's true.
That's just the reality.
That's how the British Empire went down in Africa and took over.
There you go.
That's how they went down in Africa and took over. It's just a handful of the British kingdom that went down and colonized Africa.
That's right.
Because the Africans was unorganized. I mean, they came in and more or less conquered them. But I agree, we have to be together as a people or we'll continue to struggle.
Exactly.
We've been struggling for 400 years.
Now, last week, now you guys represent different faith. A lot of people have problems with Muslims, especially we're going to call it Nation of Islam.
Okay.
And I think everyone needs to be, especially on a religious front, I think everyone needs to be at the table, especially if you're Black. Malcolm X said says it best. You said that you're not catching hell because you're Baptist or you Methodist. You catch a hell because you Black. And you guys been the example of 4 different religious background, which is necessary. To me, religion is the key to everything, to even unlocking our mind, or are we going or are you going to lock our mind to the same perpetual slave mentality we have, or it's going to unlock our mind to open it up, fresh ideal, and have that vision that we are gods, and what we say can manifest from the abstract to the concrete. But young brothers have to see older brothers being that example to get that guidance, because sometimes young brothers need guidance. I'm 55. I still call older gentlemen like in their 60s and 70s. I need some, some direction. But if that older figure is not there, like you gentlemen are as an example, then how are we ever going to unify?
Exactly. That's an interesting point, William, is the nation. I've read Malcolm X books. I understand his philosophy, and it's important. And they're Black. They're Black men and Black people, and we all have to be together and accept one another. I'm glad that the Malcolm X Foundation is moving forward, and I'm glad to see the city. Well, it appears to be that they're coming together to Baghdad. Malcolm X was born here.
Right.
And that ought to be recognized and celebrated.
Right.
Because of what he stood for, what he taught, what he preached, and his whole philosophy started. He was born here. So I do have a voice, and there's a lot of things, even though my religious background is not Muslim or from the Nation of Islam, but I understand it.
Right. Because we all got common goals. Everybody wants to be free.
Right.
Our religious philosophy shouldn't make a difference, because, like, if you looked at the slave narratives, all of them was this You black, you gonna be on the field.
Exactly.
2 feet in.
Exactly.
You know, sun up, sun down. No, regardless. And so, like I said, once I think it comes with the religious community going to have to be the start of the unification, and that's going to be the unification of the different religions, because on every Sunday, the most segregated day is Sunday.
It's Sunday.
And that's between black and white and denominations between the different cultures.
Exactly.
The same culture. So there's a disconnect, and y'all putting God in the middle of it.
Right. You know,
and God ain't trying to be in the middle of separation.
You know, when 40 years ago, I told these gentlemen when we first got together, 40 years ago, this wouldn't happen because of our different denominations. We did not fellowship like that. We could not sit down and agree. Now, we were cordial to one another, but because of our religious ideologies, we couldn't come together, because I felt that you say you love God, but you got it all wrong because of what you believe. Right. And because of a few scriptures that you back your denomination on. Right. And so this wouldn't happen. But this generation has broken those barriers and have come together, and us older heads have come together and realized, hey, listen, we're better together. We're stronger together. And we serve one God. It's not going to be no segregation in heaven. Right. Ain't going to be no Baptist, no Methodist, no Catholic. We're all going to be together. So we need to be able to function and unify together down here.
Hey, I want to say something on the back up. You said a little bit about how young men can find that mentor, that guidance that they're looking for. I tell young men, don't be lazy. If this is something you're looking for, go out and seek it. Ask an older gentleman that's in your life, hey, will you mentor me? I'm interested in learning some things about what you do. Can you sit down with me? Will you share with me? Ask that question. If you don't ask, my mother always told me, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Right.
One of the things about religion, when you talk about religion, if you think about in the days of slavery, religion was something for the people because they had to have something to have hope. And that's what religion gave to us. When you think of religion, it's a higher being, higher than us. It's one that can deliver us, that can help us, that can keep our minds straight. And we have all these different titles. We got apostolic, we got the Lutheran, we have all the different types, Baptist, we've got everything. But the number one thing of it is we have to understand religion is to bring hope, a better lifestyle, a purpose, to make you feel and to know for sure that everything is going to be all right. You know, we have different pathways, whereas we say get to God. You don't have to do a whole lot to get to God. All you have to do is just believe in him. You know, and so when you think of all of that as a whole, if we as a people would not use religion as a gateway to separate us, sometimes we use it. Well, if you're not a part of my faith, then we can't hang out. The total purpose of what we are. You know what I'm saying?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
I look at totality. I think God is total, not half.
Right.
But you know what I mean? He's total. Brother Black, you have something to say?
It's fascinating and it's frustrating because I think about the fact that being a very basic individual, I find myself thinking, you know what? Religion and ego and pride have made this whole process much harder than it has to be. And I say that because when you get right down to the bare bones, people have way more in common and they want the same things than what they're willing to admit to. But it's just the fact that, and use the Nation of Islam as an example. Okay, from a religious and philosophical perspective, we may differ. We want the same things.
Right.
So at what point do you put your ego aside and you say, you know what, we may not agree on this, but we need to come to the table and say, what's the main thing that we need to look at? And I think that's where the generations of the Walters, and that's where that paradigm shift is happening, because they're saying it's time out for all that stuff, because all it's doing is dividing us. And it's making this process much more complicated than it's always been because, like Pastor Hunter said, there's not going to be a Catholic heaven, a Baptist heaven, or whatever. And truth be told, there's not going to be a Catholic hell and a Baptist hell. There's going to be a heaven or hell, pure and simple.
You sure about that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay. Okay.
Tell me if I'm wrong.
Oh no, that's what
it's either
just
or.
getting some clarity. That's all.
Either or. So saying that to say this, when are we going to recognize that we just have to sit down and be willing to talk and hear each other out? But again, it means religion is bad in the respect that it has created a lot of separation and strife. Because when you get right down to it, it's not really about the religion, it's about
relationships.
William, on our show, we talk about a lot of different things. Even though it's on a Sunday, it's not a quote unquote a gospel show.
Okay.
All right. We interject the word of God in our conversation, but we talk about a lot of different issues. And I learned something today on what I can call my white friends. I can call them my homeboys. I probably can count them on one hand, but now they're my homeboys. You know, that's what you said, and that's what David said. So I'm going to call them my homeboys. But I do have some issues, and we talk about this. We talk about the issues and concerns that we have with people that are not like us, don't look like us, and they say they believe us like we do. And I'm talking about the white evangelicals.
Right.
I talk about them because they raising a lot of hell and causing a lot of problems because they were backing Trump. And Paula White, and I call her name out. I wish she would call me. She calling angels from Africa to bless Donald Trump. I mean, what in the world is this?
Why she want angels from Africa?
From Africa, right. To bless Donald Trump. That blew my mind. You going to call angels from Africa to bless Donald Trump. Now, they ain't call on no angels to bless Joe Biden.
Right.
They said that God put Trump in office. Well, Trump is not in office, so God must have said, okay, Trump time is up, and now it's Biden's time. So why don't y'all pray for him?
Right.
You know, but and see, and that's the kind of stuff we talk about.
Right. See, I didn't know they had. Well, thank God we got some black angels. I need to call them black angels. Sure.
They've been around for 400 years, guys. Okay, don't get it twisted.
She calling on the black angel from Africa, man, to bless Donald Trump.
And I'm like, why don't she call him angel from Scandinavia or from Sweden?
Yeah.
Why is it always us?
Okay,
because we know how to get things done.
Okay, come on.
I think that
Praying
flavor.
people, that's why.
I think that flavor.
But you know the problem with religion?
The problem with religion is people.
Right.
People are the problem. Religion is pure. God is pure. People are messy. People make mistakes. They represent God, but they live a total different life.
Right.
So when you can separate religion from people, then you can be who you really need to be. You know, you can be you can be transparent, and yet you can realize that it takes God to help us all be who we need to be. When you're talking about racism, especially in the political realm, I mean, that's something that's always been. That's something that's going to always be. People mess up, and these are the same people that go to church.
Without a doubt. Omaha, the Birds of Bless. We are talking to four distinguished gentlemen. They what's the name of the show?
AJDW Conversation.
There we go. They on every Sunday at 1:00. They also broadcast in Lincoln. They're on 660 AM KCRO. You can catch them. And then I want to invite you guys back. Martine is not here consistently all the time because she got many jobs. So if you guys want to bum rush the show one morning, you're welcome to come in like once a week and just holler at me. Come in and we can dialogue. So you're welcome to come in. I like the men. I think the women like all the men too.
I want to say one thing. We also are nationwide. You can hear us on all podcast platforms. So we're all over the country, all over the place. So.
Okay, so they can everywhere.
Right. Yeah, and let me share this. Right now, we are working with Veet Network Radio out of Hartford, Connecticut.
Right.
We've been very blessed. syndication with them. Currently, we're in Canada, Australia, Japan, I think a portion of Czechoslovakia, United Kingdom, Brazil, Nigeria, and throughout the United States. And we're also, thanks to Walter and David and Pastor Hunter, have been able to get on the podcast. I don't know what that means, but it sure sounds cool.
Yeah.
But we're in all the different podcasts and everything. So, and I think right now our listenership within the last 6 months has grown to the point where we're probably averaging between 12 to 15,000.
Yeah, about 12,000 plus.
Okay,
12,000 plus. So.
Good. All right, well, gentlemen, great, continued success. I don't want you guys to fall off. You guys stay strong.
Hey, listen, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for the work that
you for having us.
Continue to do, and we pray God that He will continue to just bless you and to broaden your horizon. And God is doing that. Yeah. You're asset to our community and to our people, and we thank God for you, man.
Amen.
Appreciate it, gentlemen, and vice versa. I'm looking at God's like you looking at me. So we all are supposed to manifest from the abstract to the concrete. And so Omaha, the Birds of Bluffs, make sure you guys check these gentlemen out every Sunday at 1:00, KCRO 660 AM. You'll get, that fresh dialogue from a Black male perspective. No stereotypes. You'll hear a Black male perspective. And then also, hopefully, they'll come in and bomb rush, in the morning time every once in a while. And then so we'll get some different type of dialogue from a Black man perspective. Omaha, the Birds of Bluffs. We got some next guests coming in. They got a very event coming up. We're going to play some music real quick, and then we're going to bring them in. And in the meantime, again, stay with us. We want to a new cut. This one called "Timeless" by Wakanda One. Boss with me.
Time is on your side. Time is on your side. Time is on your side. Time is. The only time we have is right now. Forget about the time, just enjoy the ride, just enjoy the ride on. We can slide on, going where you can't even get no doubts on. Never alone, with you by my side, you don't complain, you like to ride. We going that way, our movement's unique. You be queening, I be scheming, we achieving all our dreams. And oh yeah, we out here feeling right. And when we talk, we be speaking live. And when we walk, we remain aligned. Happy or alive, it's so necessary. When the world cold like February, baby, this a movement, we gon' steady cruise it. Them folks be watching, but we peep the way they creep. Going off the grid with my baby love. Time the last thing that we thinking of. Oh, the only time we have is right now. Forget about the time, just enjoy the ride, just enjoy the ride. The only time we have is right now. Forget about the time, just enjoy the ride, just enjoy the ride. Just enjoy the ride. Ooh, time is on your side. 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 Hey, 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 hey,
Alright, okay, fine. Everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna turn out fine. 'Cause I got it. So won't you just smile, 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 and just keep on moving. Just keep on. Why don't you just smile, 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 and just keep on moving. Just keep on moving. We see the sun shining here on such a beautiful day. Today is the day the Lord has made, and we're gonna keep it pushing and keep a smile on our face because we know the blessings on the way. Hey, I have to look forward to it this year because it's a brand new season. God got it in his hands, so what we stressing out for? The Lord is in control, like you didn't already know. But if you didn't know, now you know, and that's how it goes. And it's all good, because God is good all the time, and all the time God is good, even when it's like, ugh. I know it gets hard, I know it gets tough, but keep a smile on your face. Don't give up the faith. Help is on the way. You just gotta wait. Hold your head up. It's gonna be okay. Stand on his word. Believe in his word.
All right, all right.
God on the promise, because he told me that you're the head, not the tail. You're above, not beneath. Blessed come and blessed go.
All right, Omaha. We got our next guest in the house. You know how these stars are. You know, they got their own publicists and makeup artists and all that stuff, to book them and stuff, you know what I mean? They got their own nouns, verbs, adjectives, prepositional phrases, some predicates to introduce themselves. And we're gonna get right into a dialogue because they got some things coming up this weekend, I think. Is it the weekend already? I hope so. What's the day? Tuesday? Oh yeah, tomorrow's the weekend, y'all. Oh yeah, Friday's tomorrow. We just gonna skip Wednesday and Thursday, y'all. We just gonna skip them. No, we got to have Wednesday and Thursday. Just in case y'all got plans. All right. We ain't gonna skip the Friday. Omaha, the birds are blessed. We are blessed to be with you guys again this morning. Like I said, we have two distinguished guests in the house. I'm gonna let them introduce themselves because they got some things going on that I want you guys to participate in. And so, ladies first.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you. Good morning, Mr. King.
Okay,
I need to get a little closer.
Yeah, let's slide to that.
All right. Look, usually people say I talk too loud. So
go talk louder. Use that diaphragm. Use that
all
diaphragm.
right. Good morning, Mr. King, and thank you for having me. I am Elisa Palmer, and I am owner of Legendary Profession Makers, which is just small business consulting, and I'm also a therapist.
Okay.
And I'm associated also with Heartland Family Services, working with our families in the community. But today, I am here to talk about our pop-up shops for small businesses because I do small business consulting.
Yes.
So I don't want everybody to get it confused. Today, Legendary Profession Makers is here to talk about small businesses, getting them out in our community, sharing their services and their products, and how we're going to be a part of that.
Now, you got an event coming up, right?
We do. We have an event coming up this Saturday, March the 13th, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it's just called Pop Up and Shop. Okay. We've encouraged small businesses, like many of the other pop-up and shops or vendor events that have been going on, but we want to make sure that we're having something every weekend within our community where our small businesses that cannot afford to be in a brick and mortar get out there, share their services and their products, and we support our local community. So I think I seen you last about 2 weeks ago at a vendor event, and we were talking about Saturday should be an intentional day where individuals that live and work in the Omaha area go out and shop at these vendor events and support these small businesses, buying products that may be gifts for loved ones, utilizing our services of the individuals that own businesses right here in our area, and keeping that revenue flowing through our community.
Right. Now, this event is going to be every weekend. Are you trying to?
So we know that there are other organizations out here that also do pop-up shops.
Okay.
So we do ours once a month. So right now we have one for March, April, and May, and they are all downtown in the Midtown area on 30th and Farnham at at 3000 Farnham Street at the Farnham Condominiums. They have an event hall there.
Okay.
So we partnered with the OIC Foundation, which I know y'all know the OIC down there.
Yep.
Okay, so OIC Foundation, one of their members provided their space at the Farnham condominiums for us to be able to utilize. And we are going to do the events there. So, because we also know that events have been going on all over Omaha, and this is one area that hasn't had the opportunity to have it. So, yeah.
Great. All right. Our next guest, how you doing today, sir?
Doing well.
Good. What you want to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hey, my name is JD King. Good name, huh?
Hey.
All right.
Hey. Anytime you got a king, you can't go wrong.
That's right. I'm with Deaf Child Hope International. I'm the president of Deaf Child Hope International, and we serve deaf children in poverty areas in the world.
Okay.
So in developing countries, and our mission is to provide hope to deaf children in poverty. And a lot of people, this is one of the things I say, how many people have actually thought about deaf children in poverty? Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot of people think about it. There's a good 25 million deaf children in developing countries. So it's a big deal. And over half of those children don't even know sign language at all because there's nobody to teach them.
Right.
So they live in a very isolated, lonely world. They're thought of as not worth educating. And often their parents don't want them because they think that they're deaf because they're cursed.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't want the curse to come onto their family.
Okay.
And so we exist to serve and to help these deaf children. We do that through a sponsorship program where we operate a lot like an organization called Compassion International or World Vision, these other organizations that you can sponsor a child in poverty. You can sponsor a deaf child in poverty through us at $1.25 a day or $38 a month, and that helps provide education, clothing, shelter. We are a faith-based organization, so the gospel, and just provides hope to that deaf child. It gives them a chance, basically.
Right.
So
Now you work with deaf children all around the country. Is that Africa, South Asia, South America, Mexico?
We have 11 countries that we serve deaf children in right now. And yeah, Mexico, Haiti, Jamaica, Uganda, Ethiopia, Kenya, Philippines, Vietnam, Honduras. I don't think I caught them all, but
okay.
Yeah. Liberia.
That's a good number. That's a good number.
Yeah. And we have one child sponsored in the U.S. It's not, the thing is, the U.S. provides a lot of services to deaf children that children in developing countries don't receive. And it's not like we don't care for deaf children in the U.S. It's just they already are getting educated. Usually, the government's usually paying for interpreters to come into the school system and things of that nature.
Right.
So.
And then also, a lot of people don't know that they have a deaf and blind radio station located up in Emmanuel by the hospital.
Oh, yeah.
And they read those individuals that have those disabilities. They have a special radio for those that have those disabilities. So no matter if they're blind or deaf, they still can communicate with the world.
That's awesome.
Which is very important. You need to get in contact with those individuals, because that's what they do every day.
Oh yeah,
that's what they do.
Absolutely.
See, we do it here at the Boss for real.
Right.
We connect with everybody, because I grew up in I grew up at Greater New Hope Baptist Church, and our minister always, Reverend Kelly, always said he always said, don't forget the sick and shed in. We always pray for the sick and shed in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
So those people that are shed in are sometimes people that are isolated. Right. And so we got to make sure that we're proactive and making sure that we help, those that need help. How can they get in contact with you?
Well, you could go to our website. It's deafchildhope.org is our website, and you can sponsor a child there. You can find our contact information there, or 402-982-9379, 402-982-9379 phone number, or email info@deafchildhope.org for more information.
Now, Sister Palmer, in the same scenario in regards to during this pandemic, businesses have been isolated.
Yes, they have. Yes, they have.
And this pop-up shop is a way to bring some attention to those
Small businesses.
Yes, those entrepreneurs.
Those entrepreneurs, young entrepreneurs, older entrepreneurs, individuals. We have individuals that have lost jobs and started small businesses by default. Because they had no choice. So with the pop-up shop, we do still have some vendor spots available. We have about 4 opportunities still available. So if you're a small vendor or a business and you didn't have plans this weekend, our pop-up is from 11 to 4. You can definitely reach out to me via phone at 402-686-0996 and just leave me a message. If I don't answer, I'll return a call. I do work another job, but definitely reach out to me and we will be glad to have you. Vendor booths are $55 if you have your table and chairs, but don't worry if you don't have a table or chair. We do have we have some tables and chairs as well, and that's $65, and it's not too late. So if you have a small business and would like to join us this weekend down there, we would love to have you. It's supposed to be halfway decent weather, but definitely join us. And then for those that are looking for those gifts coming up, we have several holidays that are getting ready to come up. So that's why we call it March Madness.
Okay.
And we're springing forward. You have Mother's Day, Easter. March is birthday crazy month. I've been looking at Facebook and it's
my birthday's coming up.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm March 15th on Monday.
Mine's the 28th.
Okay, so definitely. And while we're there this Saturday, I will be having free cake because it's my birthday, and that's when we're kicking off our first pop-up shop.
Okay.
So come have some cake with me till it run out. We have several vendors that have already signed up. So we have Mixology.
Okay.
The young lady with Mixology that will be serving non-alcoholic frozen beverages. We have, I apologize about that. That's me. I don't know if they can hear that.
Mine's off.
That's work. I apologize.
That's all right. You good. Mine was on earlier.
Yes. We have definitely a must with Miss Nancy Scott. And she will be selling safety products.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, I met her.
Yep. So she has safety products. She's going to be talking about those things and sharing those things. We have Lamont Palmer, who happens to be just one of my namesakes, that is owner of Cash Fives Clothing, and he will be doing his apparel. We also have Adapt Clothing Apparel that is going to be there. We have several crafting businesses that are going to be there sharing their stuff. The wonderful Miss Sierra Mosley. I could go on. Right now, we have a total of 17 vendors that have signed up to be at this event again and share their products, their services. And I just want to get it out there because when we support our own and invest in our own, that continues to get that information out to other individuals in our community.
Right.
And also, it feels good to represent the O&E.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's actually a love thy neighbor move.
Yeah.
Because when you actually plan an event and you invite other individuals to take advantage of the same opportunity, that's the best move. I love thy neighbor move.
Yes.
And which is crucial. And that's similar what you do, DJ, is a love thy neighbor move by taking care or bringing the attention that there's always someone worse off than you.
Absolutely.
And so how did you even get into this business? Especially do you have someone deaf in your family?
Well, that's a good question. My dad was the senior pastor at a church in Norfolk in the 60s, and he was asked to go call on a deaf couple. Never met a deaf person before. And he started, and he's like, do you guys go to church? He's writing notes to them because he's no sign language. And they said, well, why would we go to church? We don't. And so he said, if I learn some signs, would you start coming? And they came. He learned some signs.
Wow.
And he started an afternoon deaf service. And this is in the 60s. And he started a ministry to deaf people and called Deaf Missions, actually. And they've translated the Bible into sign language. So I've been around deaf culture, deaf ministry. Never thought I'd be doing what I'm doing. But you know how the good Lord kind of kicks you along the direction he wants you to go. And so it's been about 12 years ago that God put this on my heart to do. Right. And is
your father still alive?
He is. He's 82.
Okay.
Still kicking.
Okay.
So there we go. I hope I'm golfing at 82.
Okay. Well, you know, well, you
But
must.
he could beat me still, which I don't know what that says.
Oh no,
Right.
I mean, he's good.
Yeah.
Right.
Or I'm bad. One of the two.
Are you
Yeah.
bad or? No, that's a good thing. So you actually, your father rubbed off on you.
Yeah, absolutely. What we're doing is different than what they're doing in that I also spent some time working alongside people that work in the Compassion International organization, and they do what we do, except mostly hearing kids. They do have some deaf children, but because I knew of deaf culture and the need of deaf children, I started learning that there needed to be a focused effort on deaf children only, because they have such unique situation. And then when I learned of the scope of this, that there's around 36 million deaf children in the world, 80% of them live in developing countries. Mm-hmm. So 2 out of 1,000 people are born deaf in the United States. Don't think of that. Wow. But there's more like 4 or 5 people are born deaf in developing countries. And it's because of lack of medical care, lack of good nutrition. Mm-hmm. So more children are born deaf. So there's more of them per capita. And then once they're born, what opportunities do you have when you're deaf and you don't even know sign language? Mm. What opportunities do you have? You're taken advantage of. Mm-hmm. Your thinking is, I don't have a chance at life. I don't have a chance at a career. I don't have a chance at having a family. Mm-hmm. So, we want to do something about that. Step in and try to provide hope to this group of kids. So
great.
Yeah.
Omaha, the Birds of Bless. You'll be hearing more from Brother King's organization. We'll be playing his teaser or his ad. Letting guys know about how you guys can contribute. Remember, there's always someone worse off than us. Right. And so today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. We actually practice, modifying our behavior so we become better people, better family members, and hopefully better community members. And the only way, especially since we've been talking about this plantation and all this race stuff been going on, and all this insensitive stuff in regards to our neighbor. But the commonality is economics. That's the main thing we have in common. And I want us to focus on economics and not our dissimilarities. Just look at our similarities and our needs. And everyone needs to share economically. Mm-hmm. And what Ms. Palmer is doing is on Saturday is crucial, because when you bring 17 vendors together, that means they had to buy supplies. Correct. They had to look good, so they had to go to the barber, and they had to get, you had to be, presented. So everybody's making money. Correct. Off of that event. You got their hair people. You got to have some spirits. You got to have some H2O. Right. You got some spirits. Yeah. And so, but you got all these things off of one event that's making people money. Right. And so it's important that we participate in commerce, because again, that's a love thy neighbor move. Correct.
Not only just generating revenue. If you come out and say you don't have money to spend, come out, talk to the vendors, learn what they're doing. These are individuals that have stepped out on faith and said, I'm starting a new business. I want to connect the dots. I want to get to know how I can be of better service in my community by selling my products, by committing my service to the Omaha, Nebraska area, not only here, but moving on to other areas. May it be in Sarpy County, may it be in Lancaster County, but I need to connect the dots. And that's part of what my business does, is making sure that we connect the dots, and we know, who do I talk to in Omaha if I have a small business and I want to get out there? How do I get that going? And so individuals like our business here that's doing this vendor events, that's our purpose. So when I went to a vendor event 2 weeks ago. It's been 2 weeks since we was with Miss Stacy Honeycutt. Yep. She did one 2 weeks ago. Last week I did go with one with Miss Shelton Shar. And the thing is, you walk into that, you meet these individuals that have started this business, learn why they started their businesses, why they're selling these products, what motivated them, what gave them that passion to want to do those things, and how they're making it work. Right? So then you also connect those dots, then find out how can it be of a service to you. And if it's not of a service to you, I can share that information with the next individual. So yes, it generates revenue, but it also shares resources in our community that help the individuals in our community from Omaha, Nebraska. And that is loving thy neighbor, like you said, saying, hey, I'm not only going to sell my products to you, but I'm going to love on you. You know, I'm going to love on you. I'm going to give you good conversation. We're going to share those gems and nuggets of wisdoms of how it works to be an individual and live and be productive. That's one of my husband's favorite words, being productive in our community and being happy, being blessed, sharing the blessings that we have. It's a blessing that individuals have had the resources, found the resources to start businesses during this hard time of the pandemic. And now to keep them going.
Now, I heard you mention two other names, Miss Honeycutt and Shar.
Yes.
I was at both events.
Me too.
Now, are you ladies coordinating as far as on how you plan your events? So you're not competing, but enhancing each other's event.
Correct. So whenever these young ladies, and they started it way before me, this is my first step into the water. And so before we got ready to do these pop-up shops, we spoke to these ladies. And when I say we, not only am I doing this by myself, I do have the wonderful Nancy Scott who works with me of Definitely a Must. And we came to this because we have children that started small businesses that are adults that have small businesses. And we wanted to be able to show them and support them that, hey, you got resources in this community that are going to support you. So when we got ready to do this venture, we did reach out to Ms. Honeycutt and shared and make sure, say, hey, we want to make sure that we're not we're sharing information. Miss Nancy Scott has been a vendor at Miss Honeycutt's events, at Miss Shelton's events. Again, like I told you, Saturdays are my day. So I intentionally get up on Saturdays and go to our vendor events. And I make sure that I set aside a certain amount of money to spend with businesses in our communities. And so I use those products. And so when I shared this information, we shared the information with Miss Shelton. She said, I'm not having one, but I may have some vendors that are interested that may want to be there when you're there. And so it is a way to ask those questions, collaborate, and share the wealth.
Without doubt. Because they print money every day. They print money every day. Give me some money in DC. Give me some money. And so, but I like that. That's an example of how God will want us to work.
Right. It's like to say, hey, we're not in competition. First of all, we're all women. We're all African-American women. We are all wanting to be of service in our community. And so we are not here to compete. Because like you say, money is being printed every day. There is enough money out here to go around. So if we can share that information and share that knowledge and be like, hey, you spending your dollars with me, let me spend my dollars with you. If I don't have any dollars to spend, let me share my knowledge with you, and I'm gonna promote your events and you promote my events. And that's how the system works. That's how we grow together. That's how we're blessed together.
Without doubt. And I'd rather get paid by God. God paid tenfold.
That's right.
Man only pay one time.
That's right.
God paid 10 times. Whoa. You can't beat that.
There you go. Say that. So when we say we're blessed together, this event has been prayed over. We prayed over. We thought about it. I'm not going to say we're not going to throw anymore, but right now we're just focused on March, April, and May. To get it out there, to do those things and get them events promoted and share. We don't know.
Without doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all good. It's all good. Now, Brother King, you're basically doing the same thing. I mean, but on an individual level, as far as bringing hope to these families per se. Now, so when they support a young child, do they get to interact with that child? Do they get to know that child? Give me the scenario how.
Yeah. So if you sponsor a deaf child through us, you can write to them, and then they will write you back. Or if they don't know how to write yet, because they may not have a language yet, they will draw a photo, draw a picture, or maybe a craft, or maybe an adult that's with them will write something about them. And we try to get something back to the sponsor once or twice a year. So, we got to get letters from Uganda to their sponsor in, Ohio. It's a challenge. That's a challenge of what we do. But we believe strongly that to be able to write your child and send them pictures of yourself and your family in a letter is important for that connection between the two. And then they can start praying for each other. The family or the individual that's sponsoring the child can start putting their photo up on their refrigerator and every day say a little prayer for them. But then also that deaf child will pray for the sponsor. I mean, we need prayer. So what about having your child in Uganda praying for you, and that happens. And so a connection starts happening. And we've had people actually visit their sponsored child. So we do have 4 mission trips planned this year. 1 to Kenya, 1 to Uganda, 1 to Jamaica, and 1 to Haiti.
Okay.
And so people can go visit these the deaf children and hang with them. And I'll tell you, the children in Kenya at our orphanage in Kenya, I've been there. They are the nicest, just the sweetest, funnest, kids to be around. They're
Right.
just, it's just, I can see why Jesus said, be like the children. You're just good feeling being around them.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
And that they need help. They need people to step into their world and say, you have value. You have as much value as anybody. And we're gonna try to help you. So
Okay, cool, man. I'm glad you're doing that. Make sure you get some footage.
We got some video.
Okay,
quite a bit of video, but
is that on your website where people can actually?
Yeah.
Okay.
We have blogs on our website. We have a YouTube channel. Deaf Child Hope on YouTube with some good videos on there. And we're always going to be taking more videos, more photos every trip.
Now you said people can't go on those missions with you.
Yeah, they can go with us. Yeah.
Okay.
He invited me.
Yeah, I invited.
When you say you're going to 4 nations,
we're going to go to 4 nations this year, even with COVID. I think, it's going to be late June and July is the Kenya trip.
Okay.
Uganda is early July. Haiti is June, and Jamaica is going to be September. But so, we'll go on a safari. There'll be a safari on both the Kenya and Uganda trip. There'll be a day of just sightseeing, and there's a giraffe farm where you get to pet or see giraffes and stuff too. But the bulk of the trip is going and spending time with the deaf kids. But it's a fun trip.
Okay,
all
good.
of them. Yeah.
All right. You had to find your own sponsors. You had to pay your own.
Yeah, you got to pay your own.
Okay.
You got to pay your own.
Okay. Well,
either find donors or send out letters asking people to help you.
Okay, I'm gonna try to get I'm gonna try to get a PPP.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, do SBA.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, cool. How can people get in contact with you, Brother King, again?
Yeah, deafchildhope.org is our website, and if you want to sponsor a child, again at $38 a month or about $1.25 a day, you can go on there and choose your child, choose female, male, age. You can just choose your child, and it walks you through that. But then you could also email us at info@deafchildhope.org or call us at 402-982-9379.
Great. Sister Palmer, any last words in regards to pop-up? You say you have more vendor opportunities. Is that correct?
Correct. So if you are a small business or a vendor that is looking for an opportunity to generate some revenue this weekend, definitely reach out to me. Give me a call, 402-686-0996, and just chat with me. And we will definitely see about making sure that we can provide an opportunity. We have about 4 tables left. I'm gonna say 4 right now because I haven't checked since I've been here this morning for the registration. But if you reach out to me, give me a call. I accept text messages as well, and I can send you a registration form, share the information. The vendor event is this Saturday, March the 13th, from 11 a.m. to 4 o'clock p.m., located at 3000 Farnham Street, which is the Farnham condos on the side of the building. It says Werner. You will see it right at the crossing. You can't miss it. You can park in the parking lot across the street. If you see that parking may be full in front of the building, there is no entry fee. So you have the opportunity, if you're looking to shop or even just get out, come out, visit the Midtown area, stop at the pop-up shop, talk with some of our small vendors, buy some of the wonderful products. We have I call her Miss Stephanie, but she will be there selling jewelry. She has wonderful silver and gold pieces that's economical prices. Just stop in and visit with us, share with us, have some cake because I'm kicking off my birthday weekend. And so have cake, just chat, spend some time with me, and let me introduce you to some of these vendors. I will walk you around, talk to you, and we will just have a good time this weekend.
Great. Well, I'm looking forward to it. Maybe we can have one of the vendors come in Friday.
Okay.
And they can maybe bring some of that stuff in. We're reminding people again.
I
know Brother King, we're going to have his ad in rotation, so people are going to be constantly reminded of what's going on with him. Anything that we didn't discuss this morning, Brother King, that you want to make sure that we get across?
Oh man, I can just share. We talk about the least of these, the Bible, and that scripture used to bother me because Jesus said, "Least of these," and it's like, how can somebody be least? That means somebody else is more, and I didn't think there was any classification, And it hit me one day. He's talking about circumstances, not value. He values all of us the same. And I really believe that deaf children in poverty have the same value as anybody. Oh, yeah. And we, but also at the same time, I feel deaf children, as far as circumstances, could be maybe the most challenged on the planet. I mean, there's hearing children in poverty. And wherever there's hearing children in poverty, there are also deaf children in that same community. Right. And those deaf children are not only struggling with the same things the hearing children are struggling with, they're struggling with isolation, loneliness, feeling like they are not worth anything.
Right.
So, I just wanted to share, I really feel it's serving the least of the least, maybe,
That's right.
Right.
And that's our focus, providing hope for deaf children in poverty. So, yeah.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
And sister?
Yes.
Any parting words, any last words, or anything that we didn't discuss that we want to make sure we get across?
In my parting words, I just want to say, first of all, thank you for having me again. I got to learn a lot about Deaf Child Hope here with Mr. King. And when you think of either one of us that came here today and talked about what we're talking about, there are two things that we do have in common. One is faith, because I'm a woman of faith as well, but also knowing that time and money all have numerical values, and either one of these things that we talked about can benefit from that. Your time and some of your revenue, even if it's in small quantities, that can make a difference in someone's lives. May it be that small person that has a small business. May it be that deaf child over in these countries that we need to continue to provide service to. So do not discriminate. Share your time, share your money. I'm transparent and I shoot from the hip. Share your time, share your money. Give your time, give your money.
Without doubt.
All right, and give it to good causes.
Without doubt. And if you follow that advice, God will give you tenfold. Oh yeah, without doubt. I mean,
wrap it on up.
That's the best advice of the day. Again, today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. And on Tuesday, we practice telling the truth, but also we practice accepting the truth. Now, constructive criticism is love. It's a sign of love. Now, we don't want you to criticize people and put people down. That's a totally different type of criticism. Right. A criticism that'll put you up is to correct so you perform better or behave better, not to put you down so you feel less than or shed in. And so today, again, be purposeful on telling the truth today, but also be purposeful on accepting the truth. And so never lie to yourself. When you lie to yourself, you are already defeated. You can expect other people to lie, cheat, steal from you, etc., etc. But when you lie to yourself, then you are defeating your own purpose. Omaha, the Burbs, the Bluffs, we have had a festive show this morning. I played some slave narratives earlier, actual slave narratives from slaves actually right before the Civil War. And we can hear their experiences. Coach at Creighton University got reinstated. So I think he was only suspended one game for his saying plantation twice. And so the players did express their feelings in regards to a person that supposed to love them, to receive that type of treatment. As being a former basketball player in the 80s, where they wouldn't put my picture in Fremont Tribune because I was Black, I feel what those young men are going through. And so the community stood up for me in my last game of my senior year of my college career. After protesting, after getting the NAACP involved, they put my picture in the Fremont Tribune. And so we want Creighton University to, treat your neighbors with a little bit of love. Treat us a little bit of love, all right? In the meantime, I'm going to continue to remind you of the life of a plantation, because we don't want 2 feet in. We don't want 2 feet in. We just want opportunities to be men and women. Omaha, Nebraska, the burbs, the bluffs. You've been listening to the boss. Again, today is Tell the Truth Tuesday. Hopefully you guys learn a little bit something about the plight of slavery. Boss with us.
All right.
It's just a public service announcement.
Are you tired of hearing about the coronavirus? Well, it's real.
I'm telling you, it's real. Man, here's what I want you all to do for me. Yo, check this out, man.
Don't panic. If you're sick, stay home.
Stay away from me. It's contagious.
Stay at least 6 feet away from others.
The most dangerous disease. Coronavirus.
Wash your hands frequently and practice good hygiene.
Stand and show these people what time it is, boy.
We can stop the spread of the virus.
Coronavirus. Show me your mouth. Say it. You're contagious.
So stay home, stop the spread, save lives. Most importantly, let's check on our elderly.
Word up, you ain't going out like this.
We're here to keep you informed.
Coronavirus. Just get it real. Don't believe the hype.
In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.
Don't believe the hype.
Are you a business person fed up with working for someone else? Are you in sales and tired of traveling for and selling for a company you don't own? You could partner with ITEX, the country's largest retail trade exchange. ITEX helps individuals and businesses increase sales, move idle inventory, open new markets, and build cash profit. Now is a great time to partner with us in this fast-growing business. Visit omaha.itex.com. Become an ITEX partner. Visit omaha.itex.com.
It's just a public service announcement.
Are you tired of hearing about the coronavirus?
Coronavirus.
Well, it's real.
I'm telling you, it's real. Man, here's what I want you all to do for me. Yo, check this out, man.
Don't panic. If you're sick, stay home.
Stay away from me. It's contagious.
Stay at least 6 feet away from others.
The most dangerous disease. Coronavirus.
Wash your hands frequently and practice good hygiene.
Stand and show these people what time it is, boy.
We can stop the spread of the virus.
Coronavirus. Show me your mouth. Say it. You're contagious.
So stay home, stop the spread, save lives. Most importantly, let's check on our elderly.
Word up, you ain't going out like this.
We're here to keep you informed.
Coronavirus. Just get it real. Don't believe the hype.
In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.
Don't believe the hype.
Are you a business person fed up with working for someone else? Are you in sales and tired of traveling for and selling for a company you don't own? You could partner with ITEX, the country's largest retail trade exchange. ITEX helps individuals and businesses increase sales, move idle inventory, open new markets, and build cash profit. Now is a great time to partner with us in this fast-growing business. Visit omaha.itex.com. Become an ITEX partner. Visit omaha.itex.com.
It's just a public service announcement.
Are you tired of hearing about the coronavirus?
Coronavirus.
Well, it's real.
I'm telling you, it's real. Man, here's what I want you all to do for me. Yo, Check this out, man.
Don't panic. If you're sick, stay home. Stay at least 6 feet away from others.
The most dangerous disease.
Coronavirus! Wash your hands frequently and practice good hygiene.
Show these people what time it is, boy.
We can stop the spread of the virus.
Coronavirus!
Show me your mouth.
So stay home, stop the spread, save lives. Most importantly, let's check on our elderly.
Word up, you ain't going out like that.
We're here to keep you informed.
Coronavirus! Just get it real! Don't believe the hype.
In the meantime, let's take care of ourselves and each other.
Don't believe the hype.
Are you a business person fed up with working for someone else? Are you in sales and tired of traveling for and selling for a company you don't own? You could partner with iTex, the country's largest retail trade exchange. iTex helps individuals and businesses increase sales, move idle inventory, open new markets, and build cash profit. Now is a great time to partner with us in this fast-growing business. Visit omaha.itex.com. Become an iTex partner. Visit omaha.itex.com.
Step Up Omaha is hiring ages 14 through 21 for jobs, internships, and work experience. Earn up to $1,800. Apply between February 3rd and March 7th at stepupomaha.com.
Do your part. Protect the village. By following these 3 simple guidelines, we can help slow the spread of COVID-19 in our community. 1. Wear your face mask when you are around others. 2. Social distance by standing at least 6 feet apart from others. 3. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap and water. Together, we can protect the village. Stay home, stay safe, support the village. Message by North Omaha COVID-19 Community Task Force.
Go wash your hands, get the sanitizer. Go wash your hands, get the sanitizer. Go wash your hands, get the sanitizer. Go wash your hands, go wash your hands. Wear your mask on, put your mask on. If it's too lit, I can stay at home. Catching COVID-19, you be dead wrong. Keep it 6 feet, you be dead gone. I can't move without that mask, it's the same song. Every store I go into, gotta have it on. Yeah, the store empty, but the line long. Trying to use the soap, but it's all phone. It's a deadly virus, better pay attention. People out here dying, y'all. For respiratory problems, even chest pain. It don't discriminate, this is not a race thing.
Brought to you by Creighton University Center for Promoting Health and Health Equity, COVID-19 Project, North Omaha COVID-19 Community Task Force, and Healthy Village Collaborative. For more information, please go to empoweromaha.com/HVC.
We got to stand for what's right and what's true. And what's true is our community is in need of help. And we can all do something about it. We have to start with our health. The Noah Clinic on 5620 Ames Ave screens for everything for free. That's STDs, HIV, blood pressure, and blood sugar. All for free. We must change now. Get a grip on our health. Call us for any questions at 402-933-0737. Remember, it doesn't hurt to be on the safe side. Nobody knows like no.
Step Up Omaha is hiring ages 14 through 21 for jobs, internships, and work experience. Earn up to $1,800. Apply between February 3rd and March 7th at stepupomaha.com. Step Up Omaha is hiring ages 14 through 21 for jobs, internships, and work experience. Earn up to $1,800. Apply February 3rd and March 7th at stepupomaha.com.
Freedomtainment presents the Omaha Freedom Festival, Saturday, June 19th. The festival will run from noon to midnight after the Omaha NAACP Juneteenth Parade. Freedomtainment is a local nonprofit educating, empowering, and entertaining the Omaha, Nebraska community about North Omaha culture. For more information, go to omahafreedomfestival.com.
Go wash your hands, get the sanitizer. Go wash your hands, get the sanitizer. Go wash your hands, get the sanitizer. Go wash your hands, go wash your hands. Where your mask at? Put your mask on. If it's too lit, I can stay at home. Catching COVID-19, you be dead wrong. Keep it 6 feet, you be dead gone. I can't move without that mask, it's the same song. Every store I go into, gotta have it on. Yeah, the store empty,
fires, better pay attention. People out here dying, y'all better listen. Upper respiratory problems, even chest pain. And don't discriminate, this is not a race thing.
Brought to you by Creighton University Center for Promoting Health and Health Equity, COVID-19 Project, North Omaha COVID-19 Community Task Force, and Healthy Village Collaborative. For more information, please go to empoweromaha.com/HVC.
Have you been discriminated against at home, at work, or in your community, or maybe evicted as a result of COVID-19? The Human Rights and Relations Department for the City of Omaha would like to be a resource. You have rights, and it is our job to protect those rights. Please contact the City of Omaha Human Rights and Relations Department to find out how we can help you. You can reach us via phone at 402-444-5055 or online at humanrights.cityofomaha.org.
This is an important message from the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services. This season, flu vaccine is more important than ever.
Helps protect against the flu and preserves hospital capacity during the pandemic. Take action. Protect yourself, your family, and your community by getting your flu vaccine.
Contact your provider or go to vaccinefinder.org to find flu vaccine near you.
Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Health and Human Services and aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Step Up Omaha is hiring ages 14 through 21 for jobs, internships, up to $1,800. Apply between February 3rd and March 7th at stepupomaha.com.
Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Sanitize as often as you can. Wash your hands. Wash your hands. Sanitize as often as you can.
Brought to you by Creighton University Center for Promoting Health and Health Equity, COVID-19 Project, North Omaha COVID-19 Community Task Force, and Healthy Village Collaborative. For more information, please go to empoweromaha.com/HVC.
Step Up Omaha is hiring ages 14 through 21. Jobs, internships, and work experience. Earn up to $1,800. Apply between February 3rd and March 7th at stepupomaha.com.
Do your part. Protect the village. By following these 3 simple guidelines, we can help slow the spread of COVID-19. 2. Social distance by standing at least 6 feet apart from others. 3. Wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with soap and water. Together, we can protect the village. Stay home, stay. Message by North Omaha COVID-19 Community. Freedomtainment presents the Omaha Freedom Festival, Saturday, June 19th. The festival will run from noon to midnight after the Omaha NAACP Juneteenth Parade. Freedomtainment is a local nonprofit educating, empowering, and entertaining the Omaha, Nebraska community about North Omaha culture. For more information, go to omahafreedomfestival.com.
Go wash your hands, get your sanitizer. Go wash your hands, get the sanitizer. Go wash your hands, get the sanitizer. Go wash your hands, go wash your hands. Where your mask at? Put your mask on. School lit, I can stay at home. Catching COVID-19, you be dead wrong. Keep it 6 feet, you be dead gone. I can't move without that mask, it's the same song. Every store I go into, gotta have it on. Yeah, the store empty, but the line long. Trying to use the soap, but it's all phone. It's a deadly virus, better pay attention. People out here dying, y'all better listen. Upper respiratory problems, even chest pain. And don't discriminate, this is not a race thing.
Brought to you by Creighton University Center for Promoting Health and Health Equity, COVID-19 Project, North Omaha COVID-19 Community Task Force, and Healthy Village Collaborative. For more information, please go to empoweromaha.com/HVC.
Have you been discriminated against at home, at work, or in your community, or maybe evicted as a result of COVID-19? The Human Rights and Relations Department for the City of Omaha would like to be a resource. You have rights, and it is our job to protect those rights. Please contact the City of Omaha Human Rights and Relations Department to find out how we can help you. You can reach us via phone at 402-444-5055 or online at humanrights.cityofomaha.org.
Step Up Omaha is hiring ages 14 through 21 for jobs, internships, and work experience. Earn up to $1,800. Apply between February 3rd and March 7th at stepupomaha.com. Step Up Omaha is hiring ages 14 through 21 for jobs, internships, and work experience. Earn up to $1,800. Apply between February 3rd and March 7th at stepupomaha.com.
First time in a long time, hurting deeply inside. First time in a long time, hurting deeply. Trust who? Watching my back even when I'm in the booth. Oh, trust who? Doing my thing, but I'm down to come clean, not like you. I wanna make you feel the weight off your shoulders too. I'll take it. Just tell me it can't be that crazy. And even if it is that crazy, baby, I'll take it. I'll mold you. I know you're not an angel. Not you. Oh, save it. Don't waste your time. Cause I'm wavy, and I'm saying things that I don't mean, but I do mean, and I don't want you to miss me. Cause there's no way that you're sorry, and you're crying, and you're saying things that I do believe, but I don't even want you to get in my mind. I'm supposed to be in your mind for the first time in a long time. First time in a long time, hurting deeply inside. First time in a long time, hurting deeply. Yeah. Hey. Hurting deeply inside. Trust. Trust who? Trust me and I can set you free. Left your man, came straight to me. You the real MVP, my love. Ride dirty like Pimp C. You a real 10-speed freak. You was everything to me. You was everything to me, my love. Why you keep that look from me? Left me down on bending knee. When I scoop you in the Maybach, the only time I ever made you take a backseat. Why you do that look to me, shawty? When you know that we was meant to be. Why'd you keep those things from me, my love? I've given you enough time. Hurting deeply inside. Trust.
Oh yeah.
Hurting deeply. Thought I knew the red and it flipped. How many times did I ask about
Oh yeah,
this?
Omaha. Again, this morning, starting at 9 o'clock through 12, St. Benedict. They are giving out free food this morning. Milk, meat, eggs, vegetable, and fruit. And so if you are in need or know someone in need, right here on North 24th Street, St. Benedict's Church, giving out free milk, meat, eggs, vegetable, and fruit this morning from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. This is going down every Tuesday. So if you know someone in need or if you're in need, no questions asked, just show up and they'll take care of you down at St. Benedict. All right? We out of here, y'all. Boss with us.